Ready Services. For over 6 decades, my family has kept Kansas City comfortable, and I've been proud to be part of it for over 50 years. When a pipe bursts or the AC quits, you don't need a quick fix. You need a team you can trust. As a family-owned company, Ready Services delivers expert plumbing and HVAC services with honest repairs at the right prices. We guarantee you expert services without the high-pressure sales pitches. Get the job done right the first time. Contact us at ReadyServices.com today.
Sometimes historic events suck. But what shouldn't suck is learning about history. I do that through storytelling. History That Doesn't Suck is a chart-topping history-telling podcast chronicling the epic story of America decade by decade from the 18th century to the 20th. Original music and immersive sound design accompany us on our storytelling journey. Listen to and follow History That Doesn't Suck, an Odyssey podcast, available now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
We're making all of our season-long NFL predictions during Futures Week, starting August 31st, right here on 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
We're back. God, it feels like it's been a minute. After hours here on 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports. Logan Weber here with you alongside Jackson Ogden producing the program here tonight. Full boat after a Royals win. We're here from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock this evening. 913-586-7965 is our number. We will talk about the Kansas City Royals, the job they did today, completing a 4-game sweep of the Athletics, and all the news that came from today's game as well as last night's game, because there was good and bad in both of what we saw yesterday and today. Not that it matters all that much, because you're still 19 games below 500 going into the last week of August. I digress. We'll talk about that. We got some college football, really college sports news to get to, stadium stuff we want to talk about. But let's begin with the final day of Chiefs training camp coming to a close in the 2026 season. As we look towards coming up on Saturday, the Kansas City Chiefs' second preseason game of the year, and then leading into, of course, that last week of the regular season, or the preseason. Few things to get to in regards to today's game, or today's practice. Goodness gracious, folks. Lock in. I'm talking to myself here a little bit. Last day of the preseason, and there were a few different things that came out. None of it is major news, but we heard from Andy Reid today talking, and this was something that we all kind of knew beforehand, but confirming today Mahomes not going to be participating in the second preseason game on Saturday against Tampa Bay. He didn't close the door to the possibility of him getting at least a few snaps in the third and final preseason game, but the door is closed for his participation this Saturday against Tampa. He's not going to be the only guy that misses the game on Saturday. We've now heard that Trey Smith will not play on Saturday. I think people are starting to get more and more concerned doesn't feel like the right word, but maybe wary. A little. They're garnering some pause about the availability of Trey Smith, who was so good and so healthy and available for the first couple of years of his career, and then he picks up the franchise tag and then ultimately the massive contract, making him the highest paid guard in football at that time. And now there's injuries all over the place. And that's an unfortunate set of timing that seems to happen all too often in this league. And people are rightfully cautious about it happening to Trey Smith right now. It's along the lines of the same injury that caused him to miss time a year ago. So is this becoming a lingering issue? Is this a chronic problem that Trey Smith's going to have to overcome for the rest of his career? If you're the Kansas City Chiefs, you hope to God it's not. But you can't help but be a little bit concerned about that. On top of that, Josh Simmons will not play in Saturday's preseason game Either he's dealing with a back issue, and not that it's the same injury that he had a year ago, but that's part of the reason why he fell in the draft 2 years ago. It's part of the reason why he missed a little bit of time last season after he came back because of the family issue, and now he's being kept out of preseason games. Possibly out of an abundance of caution. I understand, but I do think it's a little bit alarming. It does make your ears perk up just a little bit when you're like, okay, once is a non-factor, twice is a bit interesting, 3 times is the start of what could be a trend. And that's not something you want to see from a guy that many, including myself, believe could be the Chiefs' present and future at the left tackle position. I'm hoping that Josh Simmons is the last left tackle that Patrick Mahomes will play with in his career. That's the hope I have for Josh Simmons. But if these injuries continue to play a factor, I can't express any level of confidence in that happening. And then the most recent injury, and we have an update on it, this courtesy, again, of Andy Reid earlier today at Chiefs training camp in St. Joe, said that he is dealing with Ashton Gelati, Chiefs' second-year defensive end. According to the depth charts and most of the reports that we've gotten this offseason and preseason, Gelati is expected to start opposite of George Karlaftis at the defensive end position after coming out of Louisville last year. He has a ruptured plantar fascia that happened earlier this week. Chiefs said that, it may require a short-term IR stint. Typically, the range on this is anywhere from like 3 to 6 weeks can be the recovery period for it. So there is still an opportunity for him to rehab his way back and be available for the Chiefs game week 1 against Denver. But we don't know, right? That you're playing that one completely by ear. So he's not going to participate in Saturday's preseason game. Outside of that, we don't know for certain on other guys. Jack Cochran and Shamari Connor both were, I guess you could label them as limited in practice today. They both went out and tried and then got pulled out. Jeff Caldwell's dealing with an injury. I already see Lance in the text line saying, "Logan, I'm so sorry. I was wrong about Jeff Caldwell. You were right." I don't feel good about that. And it's not necessarily that you were wrong. I may not be right. Jury is still a little bit out on this. I just thought that we all needed to pump the brakes a little bit. It all felt like we were putting the cart before the horse because he was this athletic specimen with tremendous size and tremendous measurables, and his combine stats were outrageous. But he was an undrafted free agent, and there's always a reason for that. Remember after Isaiah Pacheco's rookie year when everybody was like, oh my God, how did this guy fall all the way to the 7th round? And then his second year in the NFL happened, and then his third year in the NFL happened.
I was gonna say, he was pretty,
and everybody was like, oh no, now I get it.
He was pretty decent until the injury in year 3. The Cincinnati Bengals game week 2 is when he went down, but no, people looked at him like now granted, was he worth a 7th round pick? 1,000,000%.
Yes.
That's like, you don't ever see that production out of a 7th round pick, really, on a Super Bowl winning team. So I'll always love Pacheco for that. But you're right. Like, we look at these guys like a Justin Ross, even Cyrus Allen right now, who's a 5th round guy, and we're like, all right, we got it. Problem solved. And it's like, well, let's see it. Let's actually see it happen in the regular season. Let's see it happen on a consistent basis.
Now, I still do have belief in Cyrus Allen. I think he's something different than like the guys that we've mentioned along those same lines, because I know there have been some people that are like, oh, is Cyrus Allen this year's Justin Ross? Is he this year's Josh Gordon getting brought in? Is he the new Jody Fortson? I don't think that. I think Jeff Caldwell falls further under that category than a Cyrus Allen does, because Cyrus Allen's a far different player. Justin Ross was a guy that was he was a big play receiver at Clemson, and he was a guy that could take the top off, and he was this athletic freak along the lines of Jeff Caldwell. And Jody Fortson was the same way. He was uber athletic. He was like an Olympic level athlete at the tight end position, but he couldn't stay healthy. And that ultimately diminished him. Josh Gordon, well, that guy was years past his prime at that point, partially due to the NFL and their mismanagement of him. But I feel like Cyrus Allen, he brings something more tangible than those guys does. Is his ceiling, quote unquote, as high as those guys were when they were brought into Kansas City? No, I don't think that's necessarily the case. But his ability as a pass catcher, his ability as a route runner, no, he's not 6'3" and 210 pounds. No, the guy doesn't run a 4.3 40. He just uses tremendous footwork to get open. And when the ball hits his hands, it's coming down. I mean, I thought he was going to end up on his dome in that first preseason game with that pass he caught late across the middle and held on to it the whole way down. And so I just think that the Jeff Caldwell thing, it's a fun experiment. If it works, it works. But none of us should be putting in any stock, any amount of hope into that at all until there's even a shred of evidence that it could possibly happen. And to this point, that just simply has not been the case.
Yeah, and I wanted to get back to Ashton Gilade real quick. He has the same injury that Kyle Isbell had. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So I thought about that when you brought it up and you mentioned it because Kyle Isbell missed 2 months. However, Kyle Isbell's was a grade 3, which is the worst. There's grade 1, 2, 3 on it. I don't know if they've come out and said what Ashton's is. Have you seen that? I haven't seen anything on the grade or the severity of it.
I haven't seen anything on the grade.
I've seen the team be optimistic and say they think he could be back within 3 weeks. So that makes me think it's not as bad as when Kyle Isbell had it earlier this year and we thought he might not come back the whole season. So
yeah,
just an interesting tidbit I thought I would add on top of that.
A fully ruptured plantar fascia, which is what Kyle Isbell dealt with, that is something that's going to keep you out. Now, it has been done before. There have been guys in the NFL, and interestingly enough, it does seem to happen when the severity of the partial tear is anywhere from 3 weeks to 6 weeks. You had, the example that I've gotten, I'm looking at an article here from Yahoo Sports who's coming to you with some examples. Peyton Manning in 2015 with the Denver Broncos had a ruptured plantar fascia and missed 6 weeks of the season. Will that happen? Boy, I don't know.
They sure need him to get back as soon as possible because there's not much depth at the position. I mean, I know they brought in Emmanuel Ogbah last week.
Oh, you mean the Chiefs brought back
a player
that used to play for the organization when they were winning Super.
Emmanuel Ogbah's probably going to have to play with Gilade out. I mean, it's not pretty. There's a reason a lot of people wanted Reuben Bain or a pass rusher at 9, when ultimately they traded up to 6. Not saying the Delane pick was wrong. They obviously needed a corner as well, but there's a reason a lot of people wanted pass rush because that edge is looking a little thin right now.
Can you imagine? Everybody sit back and begrudgingly visualize this with me for a second. Chiefs come out. Week 1 of the regular season, Denver Broncos, right? AFC Championship appearance for Denver a year ago. One of the best defenses, if not the best defense in football. This is a massive game. Mahomes' first game back after the ACL tear. We're sitting here. They're announcing the starting defense of the Kansas City Chiefs. Defensive end, George Karlaftis, University of Purdue. Go Boilermakers. All right. Chris Jones, Mississippi State. Peter Woods, Clemson. Felix Anudike-Uzomah, Kansas State. I can see brains exploding if FAU is starting at defensive end week 1 against the Denver Broncos.
It's either got to be him or
nightmare fuel.
It's got to be him or R. Mason Thomas at this point now.
It's got to be R. Mason Thomas. I do not yeah, okay. Then there's we're starting 2 defensive linemen in week 1, rookie defensive linemen in week 1. I do not care. I've seen more from R. Mason Thomas through 1 preseason and a preseason game than I have in 3-4 years of Felix Anudike-Uzomah. I'm sorry.
However you want to slice it, Logan, Felix is going to have to play. Like, even if it's out as a backup,
I agree.
They don't have another option. It's not like they have the depth to be like, goodbye, Felix.
I have an idea. Here's what we do.
What do we do?
Peter Woods,
Love it.
George Karlaftis.
Good with that.
Yep. Edge, defensive tackle. Kyrus Tonga, other D tackle. Chris Jones kicks outside to D end.
Okay. So we're just, and then potentially Omar Norman Lott could also go D tackle. And once he's back,
Potentially,
we'll see when
once
back.
he's healthy.
But yeah, maybe. It might get desperate enough to where you have to just put Chris Jones on the edge.
Yeah.
Someone said might as well see what T Suggs is up to.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, right? This goes right back hand in hand. You mentioned earlier why people wanted the Chiefs to take an edge rusher at 9. This is also why people were clamoring for, hey, go get Jadeveon Clowney, who was just a free agent for months and months and months. Let's go out and get, oh my goodness, I'm going to screw his name up because there was a tight end for the Browns that had the opposite name. No, there was a tight end. He's the edge rusher for the New Orleans Saints, who signed back with the Saints.
Oh, Cam Jordan.
Cam Jordan, thank you.
Yeah.
I always kind of give myself a bunch of pause because there was a tight end for the Cleveland Browns whose name was Jordan Cameron.
That's right.
And it used to trip people up all the time. And so there's an episode of The League, if you've ever seen that, on FX.
Yes.
It's a show about a bunch of grown men who are in a fantasy football league, and it is comedy gold.
Great.
It's a crime against humanity that it was canceled after only like 4 or 5 seasons. It should have been 25. I digress.
It should still be going.
But there's an episode where they're having an argument, and this guy's trying to he's like, no, this is my pick in the draft. This is my pick in the draft. And they're like, okay, what's his name? And it was Cameron Jordan standing there, and he says Jordan Cameron, and then Jordan Cameron appears in the scene, and he's like, no, so because of that, I'm always sort of, but that, again, that got really out of left field there. Going back to my original point, the lack of depth on this defensive line is something that was talked about ad nauseum. Somebody said the Chiefs are going to bring Justin Houston back.
At this point,
when did Justin Houston retire? 2023? I was thinking like 2021, 2022.
I think it's later than you would think. Now, he wasn't impactful.
Because he was like...
I think it's later than 21.
I know he was in Indianapolis.
Did he end up
for
on Carolina at one point?
Yeah. 2023, he started the season with the Carolina Panthers and then wound up with the Miami Dolphins, and which he never played in a single game with Miami.
That's my I know ball moment of the show tonight. I knew Justin Houston made it to 2023.
2023, he registered half a sack and 1 pass deflection in 7 starts.
That's
more than Felix. Panthers.
That's more than Felix has been doing.
Yep. I said 2022, which was his last year with Baltimore, which is the last place I remembered seeing him.
Yeah, because he went to Indy and then Baltimore and then Carolina.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that that's why
looking bad.
Yeah, that's part of the reason why we've been talking about the lack of depth on this defensive line. People were talking a lot about the Chiefs need to go out and get another wide receiver, go get another pass catcher. I was more concerned about the defensive line. Carlos Dunlap, Terrell Suggs, and Melvin Ingram, Justin Houston, Tomba platoon off the edge. Yikes. What's the average age of those 5 individuals you just threw out? 38?
I mean, D Ford might as well be brought back too. Let's bring them all back.
Honestly, if you were going to bring a guy back, I'd be much more interested in hearing you out with Frank Clark than any of the rest of these guys.
Right, yeah.
I mean, Frank Clark retired at 30.
Melvin Ingram, he's somewhere. Surely ready to go. I mean, if we're bringing back just anybody. Oh, man.
Who are the current defensive ends that are free agents right now?
Someone in the text line said Joey Bosa. I don't know if he's healthy. That's always a problem with him. It can't be very good at this point. We're nearing September. It's got to be pretty bleak at this point.
Yeah.
Who's out there? You got a list up yet, Logan?
Yeah, I'm looking.
Anybody you know?
Hassan Reddick?
Is he still out there? He had
according to Spot Track, he's still a free agent.
He had a weird thing with the Jets. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Where he wouldn't go, he wouldn't play, and then that's probably more of a personal issue than it is a physical issue.
Sounds like it. And I mean, his productivity fell off a cliff. Yeah. I mean, he had that 1 year in New York with the Jets where he had 1 sack in 10 games, and then last year in Tampa, he started 12 games, he had 2.5. And that is after he had 4 consecutive seasons of double-digit sacks. But 1 sack in his age 30 season, 2.5 sacks in his age 31 season, so might be a father time thing. Somebody said, sign the dude that blew his fingers off for the Giants. Jason Pierre-Paul. That's the name you're looking for.
We're going way back now.
Tano Passignon is a free agent.
We are going. Breland Speaks. Bring him back. We need anybody.
Dude, shout out Breland. Dude, Breland Speaks. You know, and I think we all think the same thing. When you hear the name Breland Speaks, what's the first thing that comes to your brain?
Missed tackle on Brady.
Okay.
That's what I think of.
Okay. When I think of Breland Speaks, I think of the Chris Jones strip sack that he recovered, and he looked right up at the camera while he is completely face down on the ground and just smiles at the camera as he recovered the fumble.
He had a similar one at Ole Miss where he smiled at the camera and just waved at it.
Yeah, that's what I think of when I think of Breland Speaks.
No, my mind went to a negative spot where he missed that tackle on Brady in 18 and let him run it in. I'm a pessimist, I guess.
Somebody said, what about Phillip Rivers? Whoa! Where's Phillip Rivers going to play?
He could play edge. He's got dad strength to the
old man Rivers is going to play DN now.
He might have dad strength to the 15th power. You know, he's got a lot of kids.
I'd rather the Chiefs just sign his 2 oldest kids and then just put them in a trench coat. Just have one sit on the other's shoulders in a trench coat and let them play defensive end at that point.
You know, a couple years ago when Baker was in Carolina and they had him taking defensive line snaps, like we're just going to have Justin Fields rush the passer.
Justin Fields, fine.
Chris Oladoke and Garrett Nussmeier, get after the passer. Let's do it.
Jared Allen would for sure sign a couple of week contract. Can he though?
He's in the Hall of Fame. I don't think he can.
Now that he's officially enshrined in the Hall of Fame, his thing can't reset because he's already in the Hall of Fame. But hey, comebacks aren't out of the ordinary. We may talk about this a little bit when we come back. One of the greatest, one of the GOATs in the game of soccer or football is apparently thinking about a comeback. And no, it's not obviously Ronaldo or Messi or any of those guys or Neymar, but it is somewhat related to Ronaldo. We'll talk about that next here on After Hours. Logan Weber alongside Jackson Ogden, 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
Steve here with Connolly Plumbing Solutions, your neighborhood plumber. We have our sump pump special going. $200 off a main pump, $400 off a battery backup system. Call Connolly at 913-768-7676 or visit ConnollyPlumbingSolutions.com.
Hi, I'm Michaela, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. You found your dream engagement ring. As a jewelry consultant, I recommend to start shopping for your wedding band 6 months before your big day. Don't worry. At Shane Company, we're here to help you find the perfect bands. Our men's and women's bands are crafted to high-quality standards, and it shows in every detail, with a stylish design and comfortable fit. At Shane Company, we'll take care of your engagement ring and wedding bands for life, because a friend wants you to say, I do, to your rings again and again. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Sprained wrist, ankle twist, broken thumb, can't make a fist, busted knee, surgery, that patch of ice you didn't see.
Where pain starts, Jernavix suzetrigine begins. Jernavix is a non-opioid 50 milligram prescription tablet for adults with moderate to severe acute pain that reduces pain signals before they reach the brain.
Tendon tear, nose repair, tripping on that broken stair, dislocation, operation, moped crash while on vacation.
Do not take Jernavix with CYP3A inhibitors. Avoid use with grapefruit or liver problems, as these may increase side effects. Tell your doctor about all your medicines if you are pregnant or breastfeeding. Jernavix may make certain medicines and birth control less effective. Side effects include itching, muscle spasms, rash, and elevated muscle enzymes.
Joint displacement, knee replacement, fell on marbles in the basement, ladder slip, broken hip, that rock climb where you lost your grip.
To learn more about Jernavix, ask your doctor. Call 1-833-589-PAIN or visit Jernavix.com.
That'll be 5452.
Perfect. Grab the bags, honey.
Mom, why do you always check your phone before we pay?
I'm just claiming my cash back on the Upside app. Since we're getting a $10 bonus on groceries here and we filled up the car on the way, we already earned enough this morning to pay for some extra treats you can bring to school this week.
Wait, so the app pays for snacks?
Not exactly, but the cash I earn on stuff we need helps us pay for the stuff we want. It's just a little win for our family every week.
With Upside, you can earn cash back on your everyday essentials and back-to-school favorites. The free app also gets you cash back on routine purchases like gas and dining out at more than 100,000 locations nationwide. No points, no rebates, just cash back straight to your wallet. Download the free Upside app and use promo code SCHOOL10 to get a $10 bonus on your first purchase. That's promo code SCHOOL10 to get a $10 bonus. Remember, use promo code SCHOOL10.
Offers vary by user and location at participating merchants. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
Tonight, expect a mostly clear night with a low of 68.
Weather brought to you by Staples. It's the most wonderful time of the year at Staples. They've got back-to-school supplies as low as 25 cents, up to 40% off select tech and more at staples.com/back-to-school. Staples, that was easy.
Futures Week on 96.5 The Fan starts Monday, August 31st with season-long NFL predictions from every show. Yes, CDOT has promised to pick the Chargers to win the AFC West. Yes, Bob thinks the Chiefs will go 17-0. Yes, Drew will have the Bengals going to the Super Bowl. Yes, that prediction is stupid. Futures Week on 96.5 The Fan starts August 31st, right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
If you ever needed a better example of how little I follow soccer when it's not the World Cup, apparently the initial announcement came out in June and he just showed up today, and I had no idea until this afternoon when I saw a report. Ronaldinho is back playing soccer at 46 years old. This man retired over a decade ago, but back in June, he signed with Ravenna, I'm not sure, some third division club in Italy, and showed up today for the official announcement with his jersey, with the president and the manager of the club. How much he's going to play, I have absolutely no idea, but he will not be playing this upcoming Monday, which is the team's first game of the season. 46 years old, you've been out of the game for over a year? That's kind of nuts, dude. But I thought that was kind of fitting considering this conversation where people are just throwing out old edge rushers that played for the Chiefs to, like, hey, maybe he'll come sign with the Chiefs. So we need him at edge rusher. Somebody said, bring back Derek Thomas. If he was alive today, I would be all for it at this point. I said, someone in the Metro's got a Ouija board and knows how to use it. I don't know. See what happens. Brock Lesnar, be crazy. But, I mean, along those same lines, you want to talk about great college wrestlers who wound up in the WWE. What about like a Gable Steveson? Three-time national champion at Minnesota. He ended up in the UFC for a little while, then the WWE. The Bills signed him to a multi-year deal. He got cut before training camp was even over, but give him a shot. Michael Strahan, he's a little busy in the mornings. You know, getting America out of bed, I guess you could say. But I don't know, man. I just know this team needs edge rusher help, and they've needed it for months. And they thought that Emmanuel Ogbah was the answer. Okay. So he says, you think Clyde Edwards-Helaire could get to the quarterback? I don't think he can get to the quarterback any worse than, say, Mike Dana and Derek Nottie did last season.
I'm not even sure Clyde could reach the top shelf. And then
Damn.
I'm sorry. That was uncalled for.
You gotta do Clyde like that. Mike Vrabel quits coaching and returns to football. Oh, good Lord.
Oh man, we're just throwing out anybody's name now.
At this point, Steve Spagnuolo might have to play defensive end.
He might get fed up enough to where he just goes and does it.
He's gonna player coach this bad boy in the year 2026. I don't know what other options we've got.
It's ugly. It doesn't look promising.
It's not great. And who knows? All of these things considered, hopefully Ashton Gelati doesn't miss a ton of time. I'm hoping, I have belief in who our Mason Thomas can be as a player. I like his fit. He just brings something different at the edge rusher spot that I think can be helpful to this team. He brings a different level of athleticism off the edge that the Chiefs have been missing. So maybe he can take the reins from Ashton Gelati while he misses some time and never gives the job back. Maybe he's outstanding and we'll never have to think about it again. Maybe Ashton Gelati becomes a depth piece on this defensive line in the future.
5 the Fan. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
913-586-7965 is our number. When we come back, we're going to have Jordan Foote on with us. He is a writer-reporter for the Chiefs on Sports Illustrated. He's covered the team for many, many years. We'll be discussing the final day of Chiefs training camp with him, the second preseason game as we get closer and closer to that on Saturday, and some of the expectations for this team as we get closer to the start of the year. Logan Weber here with you alongside Jackson Ogden. You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City Sports, 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City Sports, 96.5, The Fan.
What's up, guys? It's Drew. Look, let's be real for a second. When it comes to performance, good just isn't good enough.
I had
Just
someone
like the
calling
teams
in. I
that
thought
we
it might
cheer
be him.
for,
That's why I
and
went
that's
over
exactly
there.
why
I
Blue
don't know
Chew
who it
raised the
was.
bar for you. Introducing Blue Chew Gold, the revolutionary 4-in-1 upgrade that targets both your brain and your body. Blue Chew Gold dissolves right under your tongue and starts working in as little as 15 minutes, so there's less waiting, more confidence, and a whole new level of readiness. And I've told you before, confidence is key. You know it the same as I do. Get started today at BlueChew.com and see why millions of men trust Blue Chew. Now, with a gold standard upgrade that's changing the game for good. It's not just about function anymore. It's about total performance, both physical and mental. They're turning bedroom performance into an Olympic sport, so go for gold. Make life easier by getting harder and discover your options at BlueChew.com. There's a special deal for you there. Get 10% off your first month of Blue Chew Gold with code KFNZ. That's promo code KFNZ. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety info.
Baseball season is in full swing, and there's no better place to be than Kalshi, America's #1 prediction market platform. Maybe you're thinking about who's going to hoist the trophy at the end of it. I like Milwaukee. They're trading currently at just 9%, down 0.5% this week. That means a $100 trade on Kalshi could see you a $1,044 return. You can choose that or other teams over on Kalshi, because on Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there is no house. And as probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. Download the Kalshi app and use code TAPP, T-A-P-P, to get $10 when you trade $10. K-A-L-S-H-I, Kalshi, trade on anything. 18 plus only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Kalshi products are not available in all jurisdictions. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see Kalshi.com/regulatory.
Whether I'm setting up the ultimate tailgate or hosting a watch party, game day is all about the Chiefs and keeping it stress-free. That's why I go to Hy-Vee. They make planning a breeze with everything you need in one convenient stop. We're talking about tailgate trays packed with sliders, wings, charcuterie, sushi, appetizers, and those iconic Chiefs-themed cookies. Plus, a massive wine and spirits department to top off your beverage order. Let Hy-Vee handle the work. Just order online for pickup or delivery. It's a total game changer, only at Hy-Vee.
Back to school savings start now at Hy-Vee's 3-day sale. Stock up and save big this Friday through Sunday with hot deals in every department: meat, produce, bread, cereal, and snacks. Want an easier way to shop? Order on the Hy-Vee app or at Hy-Vee.com. Choose pickup or delivery and we'll do the shopping for you. Save time, save money. Shop your way during the back to school sale this weekend only at Hy-Vee.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
The Kansas City Chiefs put a bow on training camp for the 2026 season today out in St. Joseph, Missouri. And we got a few different news notes and updates from training camp today. And on the line with us to discuss it right now is Jordan Foote. He is a writer for the Chiefs on Sports Illustrated. He's been covering the team for years and years. And Jordan, I guess the first thing I want to discuss with you, and we talked a lot about it here prior to you coming on with us, is the Ashton Gelati news. The plantar fascia ruptured. He's going to miss some time. I don't know how much. I've heard 3 weeks. I've heard 6 weeks. I've heard 2 months. So depending on how this thing shakes out, what do you think the defensive line looks like without him? And is this just another I told you so from people in the fan base and the media who were begging for this Chiefs team to go after depth on the defensive line?
There definitely is a little bit, Logan, of playing silly games and winning silly prizes to be a slightly nicer version of that saying, where they were, and the wide receiver room could definitely end up being like this as well. If they suffer an injury, you're skating on thin ice already. And I believe coming into the draft, the defensive end room was the worst on the team. Coming out of the draft, it was still the worst on the team. They didn't go get a Cam Jordan or anything during the offseason. Jadeveon Clowney was out there. What's left of Von Miller was out there. The Chiefs said no. They didn't make any trades. They were confident in the group that they had. This is not writing a eulogy on Ashton Gelati's season. I know that as a fellow basketball fan, you might remember this, but it was one of the Heat's 2 random finals runs, and Goran Dragic had like the rupture in his plantar fascia, and he was out a couple games. He came back, and the broadcast team just made a massive, massive deal about how tough he was, how uncomfortable that injury is. We've seen lots of different reporting, to your point, of, okay, it's only a couple-week injury. Okay, it's a 4-week injury. Maybe this bothers him all season. Right now, it's excruciating pain. Glad they're not in the regular season. We've had some former NFL training staff people kind of give their takes about it and think that the full rupture is objectively better than a partial tear, which seems to be kind of jiving with the reporting in players past. So I guess that is the bright side. But even Ashton Gelati, who was not the most proficient, most athletic, most explosive guy, but did rely on that power to speed hybrid blend to torque as a pass rusher, he needed that. And if he is being sapped, he might not be available week 1. If he is, he could be a shell of himself for a pass rusher that really needed him to pan out. So then you go down to, is it R. Mason Thomas getting a little bit bigger of a workload as a rookie? Is it Felix Anudike-Uzomah getting a bigger workload and a contract year for him? Or does Emmanuel Ogbah, who was signed for depth purposes, does he get thrust into a bigger role? So they do have options, but admittedly they are not the most promising ones if Ashton Gelati does miss some time.
Any day that includes a obscure Goran Dragic reference is a good day, in my opinion. I like that from you. I don't know. I
knew you'd like that.
As soon as you said his name, I was like, yep, that was game 1 of the NBA Finals. I think that was COVID, right? 2020, if I remember right.
Goran, baby.
Oh,
yeah.
Man. That's, funnily enough, as a left-handed white point guard in college, that's what guys called me in the rec center, was Goran Dragic. I'm not even making that up. That is a true story. Okay. Getting back to talking about the Kansas City Chiefs, he's not the only one that's going to miss time for Saturday's preseason game against Tampa Bay. No surprise, Andy Reid saying Patrick Mahomes isn't going to go on Saturday, but he did leave the door open for him to maybe take some snaps in that third preseason game. What do you make of that Mark, that statement from Andy Reid that he might go a little bit in that third game. Do you see that as a good thing, or should the Chiefs keep him out for the third preseason game as well and make sure that he is absolutely healthy week 1?
At this point, just hold him out, right? And I still lean that's what they're going to do, even with Andy Reid's past plans. And in the modern NFL, with the third preseason game instead of 4, like, this is really more for the guys who are going to end up being cut a couple of days after that one. It's unfortunate, but it's kind of where the NFL is right now. You need to get the full idea of who you have. And it's not like Andy Reid's going to let Mahomes go play a full half or even a full quarter or anything. Maybe it's just one drive if he's out there to get his feet wet again, dip his toes into the waters of live bullets flying on an NFL field, all of that good stuff. But still, if you aren't going to play him in the opener, if you're not playing him Saturday against Tampa, I think you probably just keep him on ice until week 1 of the regular season. And that is a totally respectable plan because he has passed every test with flying colors thus far. He's done all of the hop, skip, jump, agility testing to get cleared for camp, hasn't had any setbacks. And these are obviously different positions, different players, different bodies that are healing. But the Malik Neighbors situation, the Micah Parsons situation, those guys probably need their ACLs a little bit more than a Patrick Mahomes, but I would argue still the type of football that he plays and the constant extension and all of the weird angles he puts himself in, he needed to be pretty close to 100% to be able to go out there and play the Patrick Mahomes brand that we know, and he has, by all signs, been on track to do that, and I think that you can still call that the case without him playing even one snap in the preseason.
Of course, we only have the one preseason game to kind of look at right now and try to make decisions or make these big blanket statements on what we saw from it and how the offense is going to be different this year. But did the fact that they were so predicated on running the football, is that something that you kind of have bought into a little bit, that, yeah, they are a team that is going to rely more heavily on the ground game? Or do you think that was just a matter of it's the preseason and Mahomes isn't playing, so we're just going to hand the football off to our running back?
Probably more the latter. Like, I am still intrigued to see, more so than the volume, what the split is of under center versus shotgun runs, and maybe even by personnel, because Emmett Johnson showed tremendous burst compared to kind of what I thought he had, and he ran worse than Isaiah Pacheco significantly during the pre-draft process. But in pads, he looked as quick as Pacheco ever did in a Chiefs uniform. And that one run where he bounced to the outside and straight up outran a couple defenders, all of the shakiness that he showed. But first team offense, thinking big picture, the Chiefs, even when Mahomes got hurt at the end of the year, they finished tied with, I believe it was the Cardinals, for the highest pass rate over expectation. They're always going to throw the ball. Andy Reid is always going to want to do that. Patrick Mahomes, for better or worse, if they are leaning into the RPO game, is going to want to pull that and throw those passes, especially with Rashee Rice potentially being healthy for a full season. That will always be at the Chiefs' offense's core, what they're going to want to do. But I have to admit, it wouldn't hurt, right, to hand the ball off to your running back, let him be a little bit of a bell cow. And I would argue the top three at the position right now are better than anyone they had in the room last year. Kareem Hunt, for what he was very effective, but just the diversity they have in skill sets, the athleticism, the receiving chops, the pass blocking of DeMarcado, there's a bunch of flavors they can throw at you in the ground game. They can unleash those guys in screens. I don't think that it's going to be a fundamental, even like a 2022 level shift from Andy Reid, where you see him scheme up a top three, top two, top one offense with NPCs kind of at the receiver spot. It won't be that, but I would be floored if the Chiefs didn't lean into the run game a little bit, get a tad more creative, and maybe that is what gets them back to, let's say, a top 10 offense, and then it comes down to situational football and what the defense ends up being.
Kind of going back to what we were talking about earlier, Gelati's not going to participate on Saturday because of the injury. No Mahomes. We also heard from Andy Reid that Trey Smith and Josh Simmons, neither one, will go in Saturday's preseason game. Those are two little updates that kind of have people on both sides of the fence. Some of them are starting to get a little bit concerned. Trey Smith and Josh Simmons, both of these guys dealt with injuries when they were in college. Trey Smith, through the first couple of years of his NFL career, was incredibly healthy, but last year dealing with injuries, this year kind of the same thing coming back to haunt him again and keeping him out of training camp in the preseason. Josh Simmons with the back issue. Are you concerned at all about what's going on with these two guys that are supposed to be consistent stalwarts along the offensive line? Or are these just precautionary moves keeping them out? Or is this something that we should be taking a larger look at throughout the year?
I think the Simmons situation, let's see next Monday, next Tuesday, kind of what it looks like. And I'm not even a little bit worried about him yet. It is awkward that it's a back thing. And even if it is minor, those things typically don't get a ton better very, very quickly. If this was days before the season opener, like the 1 week when Kelsey had the hyperextended knee, I think that was 2023, and he missed a game or was limited for a little bit and then was never bouncing back, like that could be a path. But Simmons, if we're doing a 1 to 10 scale, I'm at like a 2.5 on him. But the more time that passes with the Trey Smith situation, we should have known when it first happened. And Andy Reid said he went to see a specialist, but it wasn't anything to worry about. If it isn't anything to worry about, Andy, why is he going to see a specialist, right? And it's a hip thing. That was very, very weird. Andy still has repeatedly said nicks and bruises, not a big thing, short-term injury, he'll be back out there soon. That can all be true. I'm not trying to discount that. I'm not saying that Andy's going to Andy and he'll hit him with the day-to-day label at some point, the dreaded one. But that scale has to be at least a 5, I think. And maybe he's out there the next practice or two and looking good next week and the days after that. But I am firmly monitoring the Trey Smith situation. We probably won't get any new updates until the next time they practice back in Kansas City. But I am keeping an eye on that one because the combo of hip injury, he's had a lot of snaps under his belt. He's been durable for a very long time. He's tough as nails. He's high paid, and you're going to see a specialist for something that the coach doesn't think is a big deal. Definitely is a reason to, if anything else, just kind of raise your eyebrows and keep one eye on that.
So as we look ahead to Saturday, the second preseason game against Tampa Bay, I know that there's not a lot that you can take away from preseason games, and if you do, it's kind of a grain of salt situation, but who are some of the guys you're looking at? What are some of the parts of this football team that you are paying the most attention to on Saturday to kind of come away with some more answers as we get closer to the start of the regular season?
I would love to see what else Jaden Hicks has to offer after just a fantastic pass breakup in the end zone to a tight end. In that first game, he had a couple of great downhill tackles. I want to see what Brashard Smith looks like as he continues to get reps as more of a true running back. And then I want to see if R. Mason Thomas can follow up. He had the closing burst, a great play on that PBU by Simmons. I want to see what he can do. Those are the 3 good ones. And then maybe can a Jason Brownlee bounce back? What does Peter Woods look like as he battles the injury to his ankle? And then the biggest one, maybe, how does DeMercado get used? Because usually when a veteran doesn't play much, it just indicates that their spot is sealed on the team. Then he came out in the second half and was getting special teams reps as well. So I really would like to see if they use him at all, what that timing is. And if not, I think that either means very clearly that it was just a one-off and he's locked in to that secondary spot, or maybe it's something to ask a coach about next week.
Yeah, and for R. Mason Thomas, this is a huge opportunity because with Gelati out, you're now staring down the barrel of potentially starting at defensive end week 1 against the Denver Broncos, or Chiefs fans are going to have to prepare for the possibility of Felix Anudike starting against Denver, which I think terrifies a good chunk of the fan base. Jordan, appreciate you taking the time tonight, my man. Appreciate you getting on such short notice and doing a great job as always. We're getting closer and closer to the start of the year. Can't wait.
Yep, almost here. Thanks, brother.
No problem at all. That is Jordan Foote. He is a writer and reporter for the Chiefs on Sports Illustrated. He's been covering the team for years and does a phenomenal job. Go and check him out there. Him and Joshua Briscoe, both of those guys on Sports Illustrated. 913-586-7900. 965, our number. We've been talking a lot of Chiefs here to start the program. Nothing wrong with that. But I want to talk a little bit of Royals because, hey, we got to spend a ton of time talking about them when they suck. Can we spend some time talking about them when they're actually playing pretty well? I want to do that as well. Logan Weber here with you alongside Jackson Ogden. You're listening to After Hours, 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
You work hard, you pay your bills, but with credit cards, higher gas and grocery prices, you're making the payments, but not getting ahead. This is James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak Lending. Golden Oak can help you refinance, consolidate bills, and free up monthly cash flow. Call today for a free mortgage checkup. There's never a charge to talk with us.
Golden Oak Lending cured my blues.
NMLS 114937. Call 913-890-GOLD.
It's Chiefs season at Harrah's Kansas City. Every Saturday in August, the excitement kicks off at 6 p.m., where every 15 minutes until 10 p.m., one lucky guest will win up to $2,000 in free play. Then at 10 p.m., one grand prize winner will score a pair of Kansas City season tickets. Wear your red, bring your lucky game day spirit, and join us every Saturday in August at Harrah's Kansas City. Big prizes, big excitement. Don't miss your shot to win.
21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, baseball fans. Think you know who's going to hit a homer today? Well, FanDuel's giving you a free chance to call your shot with Daily Dingers. Joining in on the action is easy. Just make your free pick on who's hitting a home run in their game, and if you're right, you'll get a profit boost to use on your next bet for a chance at even extra winnings. You've got nothing to lose, but you have a lot to gain. And you can make your free pick every day during the MLB season. It's just another way that FanDuel is your home for the home runs. Ready to play your game today? Join in on all the action at FanDuel.com/local. That's FanDuel.com/local to play Daily Dingers and make your free pick on who's hitting a homer. Swing for the fences on FanDuel, an official partner of Major League Baseball and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. No purchase necessary. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And Doug. Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Kansas City storms can leave behind roof damage you can't always see. Hail and high winds may have compromised your roof, even if everything looks fine from the ground. That's why Century Roofing offers a free roof inspection and handles the insurance process from start to finish. For over 36 years and more than 36,000 roofs installed, homeowners have trusted Century Roofing. Voted best roofing company in Johnson County for 5 years straight and best in Kansas City 2 years in a row. KC-based and female-owned. Visit CenturyRoofingKC.com.
Century Roofing. Trust the pillars of strength.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
What do parents think of back to school at Staples, where 24-pack Crayola crayons are just 50 cents?
Staples has folders, notebooks, and pens at great prices.
I'm smiling from ear to ear.
It's the most wonderful time.
Mom, I missed the bus of the year.
It's a wonderful time at Staples, where school supplies start at just 25 cents. Staples.
That was easy.
Visit your local Staples today or shop online and in the app. Ends 9/12. Exclusions apply.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
I know it doesn't mean anything to the fan base of a team that's 19 games under 500 on August 20th, but the boys are playing some ball. A little bit right now. Royals win again this afternoon, 6-2 over the Athletics, completing a 4-game sweep of the A's for the first time in 30 years. I think 1994 was the last time that the Royals swept the A's in a 4-game series. 12 hits for the team today. In fact, the only guy in the starting lineup today that did not register a hit was Tyler Tolbert. John Rave also went 0 for 4 today after he came in to spot Maikel Garcia, who left with another apparent hamstring injury. That's, I guess, the bad of today. He's expected to be probably, the expectation is he's going to end up back on the IL.
Yeah, Quatrero said today in the postgame he's going on the IL tomorrow, and to me that means his season's over.
Done. Yep.
And there's no point to bring him back anymore. Like, you're out of it, obviously. He's, looked good in his few games back, but it's just been a nagging injury that he can't get through. Shut him down for the season. Get him right for, if there is a 2027, get him right for them.
Yeah, it took him 2 months to come back from it the first time. They finally make it, he finally appears healthy. They bring him back, and it takes less than a week for him to re-aggravate it. Just shut it down. No, just rehab no rehab assignments. Just let the guy just regular rehab back from this thing and try to get it ready to go by the time you reach next season. Bobby Witt Jr. had a great day. He began with a solo home run, or 2-run home run. No, solo home run. Yeah, it was a solo home run, in the first inning to get the scoring started. He finished the day 2 for 4 with a walk. He scored 3 of the Royals' 6 runs. Nick Lofton went 1 for 4 with a walk as well. Salvi had a 3-hit day. As he sort of quietly starts to find it. Again, it's too little too late at this point. But after he hit 188 in March and 202 in April, 214 in May, and hit 188 in June, he hit 264 in July, and so far this month he's dipped back down, but he's hitting 216 again. Vinny had a hit in this one. Isaac Collins had a 2-run double in the game, 2-run single. Michael Massey with another 3-hit day. That's a guy, I feel like, and maybe it's because the team's bad. I know that's why nobody's talking about it. And the fact that Jack Caglione has had his breakout and Carter Jensen's done some good things. Why nobody's really talking about the fact that Michael Massey's hitting 278.
I think there's a real conversation to be had that he's played himself into being your starting second baseman opening day, whether that be 27 or 28, whatever it is. Let's say it is 27. I think there's a real conversation that you never want a guy to get hurt, but Jonathan India's injury might have been a blessing in disguise with Massey's development. It's given him the opportunity to be an everyday second baseman, and he's been awesome defensively, and the bat has been great this year. The only real knock on Massey the last couple of years has been that lingering back issue that he can't get through, but he's having a really solid year. If you just go from the beginning of the summer, start of June to today, he's batting over 300. Massey has been very solid for this team, which is frustrating because if you told me coming into the year, Cags would figure it out, Carter would figure it out, Massey and Lofton would figure it out, and I would be like, oh, we're going to the World Series. We're going to be great. No, we're 19 games under 500. It's just so frustrating that it was guys like Vinny and Salvi at the beginning of the year who just could not get it going that ultimately costed us. But like you said, Logan, this happens every year. They start off horrible, the season's over by Memorial Day, and then they do really well at the end, and then you get your hopes up, and everybody gets to keep their job, and they come back, and the cycle continues.
Yep. It causes your expectations to skyrocket going into the offseason and into the next year, and then the cycle ultimately repeats itself over and over and over again. Yeah, and that's, I feel like the talent has always kind of been there with Michael Massey. Michael Massey, you might call him. But you mentioned that back issue. That's always felt like the thing that was holding him back from being the everyday second baseman. And when the Royals traded for Jonathan India, it felt like the writing was on the wall that we were nearing the end of the Michael Massey experiment, that the organization didn't feel like it had a ton of confidence that he was going to be able to do it every day. Well, now we're sitting here on August 20th. He's played in 107 games. He's been starting consistently almost every day at second baseman for this Royals team, especially after the India injury. And Right now, he's hitting 278 with a 311 on base percentage. That's another kind of knock against him, is he doesn't walk a ton. But 758 OPS, which is, for your second baseman, you'll take it.
I mean, let's be honest. If Vinny and Salvi had done what they were supposed to do from opening day to today, and you got this production out of Massey, you could be a division winner. No question.
Yeah.
If this is Michael Massey, I can live with this. If you would have said before the year Jonathan India was going to put up these numbers, I think every Royals fan would have taken it. It's just the fact that it's not India, who is supposed to be your everyday second baseman. It's Massey, who you thought was going to be more of a platoon. That may be the reason it's not getting talked about as frequently. And, of course, the team's so far out of the race that, that people have tuned out a little bit. But Michael Massey deserves a lot of credit because he has been really, really solid in what's been a really tough year for the Royals.
Certainly has been. We'll talk more Royals here when we come back. Logan Weber here with you alongside Jackson Ogden. After Hours on your home for Kansas City Sports. 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City Sports. 96.5, The Fan.
Man, that was the insurance company again.
What'd they say?
They want another statement, more paperwork. They're telling me what my car's worth. Now they want all my medical records.
Dude, why are you dealing with all that?
Call the Car Crash Kings.
One call and they deal with the insurance company for you. The calls, the paperwork, the negotiations. You just focus on getting better.
Hurt in a car wreck? Don't do it yourself. Call the Car Crash Kings. It's what we do.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely from advertisements.
Country music's biggest selling superstar, Luke Combs, presents My Kinda Saturday Night Tour 2027, playing at Arrowhead Stadium Saturday, May 15th. With special guests Treaty Oak Revival, Avriana, Shenandoah, and Wyatt McCubbin. Luke Combs, live in concert in Kansas City. Get tickets Friday, August 21st at 10 a.m. at lukecombs.com.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams sale and get 30% off Duration, Superdeck, and Woodscapes products August 14th through the 24th. Whether you're refreshing your interior or exterior, we've got the colors to bring your vision to life. And with delivery, getting everything to your door is easier than ever. Shop online to have it delivered or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. Delivery available on qualifying orders.
When I hit my 50s, I felt like things were slowing down.
This is Sandra's Metamucil story.
I started taking Metamucil for digestion, but had no idea it would impact so much more. Not only did Metamucil help me feel more regular, but my heart health saw the benefits too.
Metamucil. One simple routine, 4 health benefits. Digestive health starts here. Go to Metamucil.com for more details.
At Jackson County Parks Plus Rec, there are countless ways to make your day.
Ooh, that's a great shot.
Take the Fred Arbanis Golf Course with 18 holes of championship-level golf and panoramic views of Longview Lake. It's no wonder GolfLink has named it the #1 public golf course in Missouri.
Way to sink it.
Nice birdie. The Fred Arbanis Golf Course at Jackson County Parks Plus Rec. Resort feel, affordable play. Learn more at makeyourdayhere.com.
Hi, this is Kevin Harlan, and I'm here with Rob Side at Rob Side Ford. Rob, I smell a grill. What's cooking?
Kevin, the grills are fired up, and so are the deals. Right now at Rob Site Ford, it's the Ford Employee Pricing Sales Event with the best deals we've had in the past 12 months.
Now that's saying something. What are we talking?
Employee pricing on virtually every new Ford on our lot, plus even more dealer discounts on top.
So how hot do these deals get?
Up to $17,500 off brand new F-150s at Rob Site Ford, plus huge savings on Expedition, Explorer, Bronco Sport, Bronco, and more.
Wow, that's 5 alarm hot.
Exactly, and unlike Kevin's Burgers, these deals are coming out juicy.
All right, I walked into that one.
Shop Rob Site Ford, Kansas City's top-rated Ford store on Google. 4.8 stars and nearly 3,500 reviews.
Rob Site Ford, 135th and State Line, or robsite.com.
Buy right, Rob Sight.
This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
After today's 6-2 win, the Royals are officially winners of 5 in a row. That's got to change tomorrow. They got to make it 6 in a row tomorrow. Purely out of respect for Jaden Daniels, they got to make it 6 tomorrow. They don't want to get sued, do they? Ugh. The fact that they have to sit on a 5-game winning streak for 24 hours. Jaden Daniels' mom is going to be on the phone. She's going to order that cease and desist. I can already see it. Letters in the mail to John Sherman and the Kansas City Royals. But don't worry, we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But with the 6-2 win today, I didn't even get a chance to talk about with this Royals team. Where the hell did Randy Dobnak come from? Like, this dude was like an afterthought with this. I mean, Royals brought him in and they're like, yeah, throw him out there. Let's just see what happens. Dude's just out here through 7 starts with a 1.58 ERA. And like the craziest part about it is he walks a considerable amount of batters. He's got 29 Ks this year in a Royals uniform, 20 walks. But he just goes out there and does his job. I mean, he had one in his 9 appearances as a member of the Kansas City Royals. He has given up 8 earned runs. 4 of those 8, half of them came in the start August 9th against the Cubs. He threw 5 2/3 scoreless against the Angels back on the 15th. He threw 4 2/3 scoreless, I think, today against the A's. The guy's just been nails. For what reason? I could not tell you. He's 31 years old. He's kind of, I mean, he pitched sparingly for about 5 years with the Minnesota Twins. By sparingly, I mean, the guy made 20 starts in his major league career in his first 5 seasons. He only appeared in 38 games in 5 years with the Minnesota Twins. And during that 5-year stretch, he had a 1.59 ERA, a 4.05 ERA, a 7.64, a 5.59, and last year, in 5 1/3 innings, he had a 1.69 ERA. And yet he shows up in Kansas City, and he is suddenly the best player in the rotation. Baseball's so weird, dog. It's so weird. Craig Kimbrell, who had Craig Kimbrell being an integral part of the Royals bullpen in 2026 on their bingo card. I know I definitely didn't. After he was let go by the Tampa Bay Rays this season, and the New York Mets for that matter, he's in 4 appearances with the Kansas City Royals this year, won a game, and has yet to give up an earned run in 4 1/3 innings. Okay. This Royals season is just so damn weird. It's so weird.
I think one of the funniest parts of this season is they're only 8 games out of a wild card. They're 21, or what are they, 19 games?
19 games now.
Now they're 19 games under 500. Somehow the American League has been so bad, they are only 8 games out of a wild card spot as we sit here right now. Now, don't get your hopes up. They're not making it.
Believe me,
that won't be happening. I'm, listeners across the metro, do not get your hopes up for October baseball. I'm not telling you to do that. But what a bizarre season, man. It really makes it more frustrating, Logan, that the American League is this week. Because if the Royals are who we thought they could have been, they'd be contenders for the pennant. If they were the team from 2024, or heck, if they were the team from last year, they might make the playoffs. And they'd be a serious contender because outside of Tampa Bay, maybe you give it to the Yankees, but is there another serious threat in the American League right now?
If they're last year's team, They're absolutely. I mean, the Twins are holding on to the third wild card spot in the American League. They have a below 500 record.
Right.
The Twins are 63 and 65. They have the third wild card spot right now. I mean, the Yankees and Red Sox are just chilling at the top of the AL wild card race right now. They're not even worried about chasing the Tampa Bay Rays for the division lead. They're like, all we have to do is sit. Like, as long as we stay, I don't know, above 500, we're going to get into the postseason. Because you're looking at the Twins at 63 and 65. The Blue Jays are 63 and 66. The Rangers are 3 games under 500. The Guardians are 4 games. I mean, it's just...
It's a joke.
Somehow, you have 10 teams in the American League. 8 teams in the American League, all with losing records that somehow, statistically, have a very real shot at making the playoffs. The only teams in the American League that have no chance as of this moment to make the postseason, Angels and the A's.
I'd throw the Royals in there.
I would too, but the numbers tell you they're only 8.5 games back.
The numbers do tell you
They've won 5
that.
in a row. Yada.
But you're right, because you've got Seattle 3 games out, they're 60 and 68. Detroit 1.5 out, they're 61 and 66. Same for Baltimore. Like you mentioned, Cleveland 62 and 66, they're a game out. And then Texas and Toronto are both half a game out. It's 63 and 66. If the Royals were average this year, they would have been in. Man, it just makes it so much more frustrating at how bad this season has been, because had they had just been an 81 and 81 team, they might have won the division. It's so frustrating that they have ruined this season, because it's not like you're in the National League with the big boys, with the Dodgers, with the Brewers, with the Cubs, with the Braves. Now, you've got the Rays, and then is there another team in the AL that you're really like, that's a super strong contender? I don't know. Maybe the Yankees when Judge comes back, but that's a maybe. It's tough. I mean, I've accepted this Royal season's been over since... Well, honestly, before Memorial Day, when they started 7 and 15, I was like, okay, this isn't going to go well. This is probably not going to go very well.
Honest to God, I don't see a single contender in the American League. I think it is a foregone conclusion that whoever wins the National League, whoever wins the pennant in the NL, that team's going to win the World Series.
Yeah, because there's just not a team in the American League that has both the pitching and the hitting. Houston has the hitting. Yordan Alvarez is maybe the best hitter in baseball right now. He's unbelievable.
Maybe. I believe he is.
Yeah, they don't have the pitching to make it. You've got Tampa, who it feels like the same story every year with them. They're a good regular season team, but they don't have a deep enough rotation. This opener stuff that they use,
their roster is ridiculous. Caminero and Yandy Diaz and Aranda and Chandler Simpson. Those 4 at the top are utterly ridiculous to lead this roster.
And I mean, you're talking about the 2 teams that were in the ALCS last year. Toronto and Seattle are both on the outside looking in right now. And boy, they've had quite the fall-offs, and it's been 2 of their stars. We talk about our stars not showing up. About Vladimir Guerrero Jr. having less home runs than Michael Massey.
Yeah.
I mean, that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then how about Kyle Raleigh with the worst batting average in baseball? A year after hitting 60 homers.
So that's a fall from grace, to say the least.
Unbelievable.
And I mean, to say that the Rays don't have the pitching, I don't entirely agree with. I mean, they've got a dominant top 3. You know, when you got to go out game 1 and you got to face Rasmussen or McClanahan, you got to face the other one in game 2, and then you're looking at Nick Martinez for a game 3, and then likely at that point it's a reset. I don't know if the Rays can look at Griffin Jacks
They'd go with an opener,
and say that he's their guy for a game 4. But they have, I think they have enough pitching to make good things happen. And then between the top 3 of their bullpen, really the top 2, with Kevin Kelly and Brian Baker, I think they feel really good about if they can get 6 strong innings out of a starter, that they're going to be able to close the door. But as good as the Rays have been, and I believe the Rays are the best team in the American League, are you confident in saying that the Rays are a top 3 team in baseball?
No. I think
Think about that for a minute.
I'm very
like
confident.
they're the best team in the American League. They're borderline top 5 in baseball. I think the Braves are a better baseball team than them. The Brewers are a better baseball team than them. Obviously, the Dodgers are completely and utterly ridiculous so far this season. I'm looking at the Philadelphia Phillies. Since they fired their manager, they're outstanding. The Cubs are great. Like, I can't confidently say that the best team in this league of 15 is a top 5 team in the overall sport, because I think that there are 4, if not 5 teams in the NL better than they are.
I was gonna say they might be the 6th best team in the majors, and they're the number 1 team in the AL. It's just been such a weak year. The AL feels like the NFC South this year. It really does. Someone's gonna win a division with a losing record. You know what's about to happen. There's gonna be your Carolina Panthers that went 8-9 last year. I don't know if it'll be Chicago or if it'll be Houston or whoever, but there's going to be a team that gets in with a losing record, and you're just going to wonder how in the heck is an entire league this bad throughout a whole season.
The American League in baseball right now feels a lot like the Eastern Conference post Michael Jordan in the NBA. Like, where the Western Conference, it just felt like it was a foregone conclusion. Like, unless LeBron could go out and do something crazy when he was with Miami for that brief tenure, or that little sliver of time in his return to Cleveland where they won that one championship, it was like, okay, Oklahoma City, Golden State, whoever wins the West is going to win the NBA Finals. Oh, the Spurs? Yeah, chalk it up. Like, the West just dominated the East. That's what's happening in baseball right now. And, I mean, what's so impressive to me is what the Braves have done this season without Ronald Acuna. I mean, even when Ronald Acuna's been healthy and out on the field, this is not the Ronald Acuna Jr. that we are all accustomed to. The guy's hitting 237. He's got a 760 OPS. He's got a WAR of 0.9. That is not the guy that we are used to seeing. That's not the guy that we saw create the 40-70 club when he won the MVP back in 2023. And despite all that, despite the Braves' best player not playing up to snuff, they're still having a remarkable year.
You didn't even mention Spencer Strider been out most of the season. I mean, it's been a great bounce back for them, because remember going into last year, the expectations were sky high for Atlanta, and they were just one of baseball's biggest disappointments. They finished well under 500. This year, thanks to the Royals, they got off to a hot start, and then that just kept rolling, and they've been good all season. The NL playoffs are going to be electric. I know we both think it's a foregone conclusion the Dodgers win it, but I would love to watch a series between Chicago and Atlanta, or Milwaukee, even Milwaukee in Atlanta. I feel like there's so many good matchups potentially in the National League.
Dude, give me a Milwaukee-Atlanta NLDS. Game 1, Chris Sale versus Jacob Mizorowski. Chris Paul, Steve Nash, must-see TV.
I got 3 words. Steve Draw.
3 words. Chris Paul, Steve Nash, must-see TV. That's more than 3 words.
Chuck. You didn't say I have to use 3 words?
No, I think it was 2 words.
2 words.
2 words.
Yeah.
I got 2 words. Nash and Paul, must-see TV. That's more than 2 words, Chuck. All right, Nash and Paul. That's still 3 words, Chuck.
I love when first one goes, you didn't say I had to use 2 words. You're the one who said it,
You're
Chuck.
the one who said it. Like, you put those parameters on yourself, Charles. Come on, man.
Oh, there was some great we could do a whole show on my favorite inside the NBA moments. When they had to call LA police. They had to call the LA police. Chris Paul's trying to beat me up. Dude, I was crying laughing that night. What a show.
Dirty ass water.
Yeah.
Galveston.
Down in Galveston. They're not going to Cancun. They're going to Galveston. Those big women in San Antonio.
Chuck's beef with San Antonio.
Chuck just, man.
Oh my dude, the NBA Finals this year, they brought the mayor of San Antonio onto the show to confront Charles about all the crap he'd talked about San Antonio. It's absolutely phenomenal television. It's the best. It's the best show in sports. We could do a full
3-hour segment on it.
It's the best show in sports, and anybody who says otherwise is
lying to themselves.
It is so good. Or just literally has never seen the show. Like, you can hate the NBA as an institution and still enjoy the hell out of inside the NBA. 80% of what those guys do, nothing to do with basketball. Nothing. Or very little. Like, it is basketball adjacent. Oh, where they're trying to guess where these guys, the segment where they're trying to guess where guys play, and Shaq guesses the Wong Dung Tigers and start.
That's
Ni
right.
hao?
Yeah, ni hao.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude,
gets it right.
Oh my god,
man, that's great.
it's the best. It's the absolute best show on television. I mean,
I'll tell you, I think Ernie Johnson has the hardest job in the world trying to keep that show on track. That is just impossible.
He's got to. And yet
they need it, and he might be the only person on the planet that can keep that show from not going off the rails.
And yet it seems like he has more fun than they do. Like, Ernie absolutely lives in the chaos. He lives in having to rein those three guys in. And Kenny tries sometimes. Kenny tries to have EJ's back and like try to bring Shaq and Chuck back in, and it's once the genie's out of the bottle, it's too little, too late.
We might have to come back and do like a 15-minute favorite times of all time on Inside the NBA. Like it's good.
We could do it. We could
so
definitely
good.
do it. 913-586-7965 is our number. Logan Weber alongside Jackson Ogden. We may get into some more talk about Inside the NBA as we go along. The Chiefs did make a free agent signing today. Was it a wide receiver? No. Was it an edge rusher? No. Does anybody care? Probably not, but it's reportable news, so we'll talk about it. We also have some news. The Kansas City Council has officially announced something in regards to the stadium project, the downtown ballpark for the Royals. We'll report on that one as well coming up next here on After Hours. 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
This summer, Casey's has 89-cent medium fountain and new Frostbite by Casey's drinks. But if you don't have 89 cents, you could check your center console, dig between your couch cushions, ask Grandma for $1, or just use your credit card. 89-cent medium Frostbite by Casey's or fountain drinks at Casey's. All summer long. Restrictions may apply. See store for details.
Hi, I'm Danny Gravatt. For over 65 years, my family has kept Kansas City comfortable. At Ready Services, we guarantee expert service in HVAC, honest repairs, never high-pressure sales, get the job done right the first time without the headaches. Visit ReadyServices.com today.
Having unexpected car trouble or just in a car accident? You need Jay's Southland Tow Service. They have 20 years of experience and service the KC metro area. They specialize in light, medium, and heavy duty, also in commercial transport and construction equipment. Keep this number handy, 816-779-4TOW, or go to southlandtow.com. Use the tow service trusted by most local police departments, Jay's Southland Tow. There's nothing they can't do, so be in the know and use Jay's Southland Tow.
When your joints hurt every single day and you've been told you need surgery, it can feel like there's only one option left. But please, do your homework. Remember, once a joint is replaced, there's no going back. Hey, it's Bob Fesco. Before you schedule that surgery, consider getting a second opinion from QC Kinetics. Whether you're dealing with the pain of bone-on-bone arthritis, a torn meniscus, or just years of wear and tear, surgery isn't the only conversation you should have. Talk to QC Kinetics about how they use regenerative treatments to deliver real relief to patients right here in Kansas City. They concentrate tiny healing tools from within your own body, targeting the exact spot that's causing the pain. The whole idea is to give you a real shot at holding off surgery or in some cases, avoiding it altogether. So get your free consultation at QC Kinetics now, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. Located at 435 in State Line and in Gladstone, 816-412-6299.
Hey, it's Rex here with Rex Buys KC. I get it. Selling your house can sometimes feel overwhelming or scary, right? I've seen it too many times. A homeowner thought they had a deal, only to have the buyer back out at the last minute. That's not how we do business at Rex Buys KC. I'm local, I know Kansas City, and I make sure every deal actually closes like it's supposed to. No hidden fees, no showings, no last-minute surprises, just a fair cash offer and a process you can count on. We buy homes in any condition and judgment-free. So whether your house needs repairs or you just want a fast, hassle-free sale, we can make it happen. If you want certainty, transparency, and someone local who actually delivers, call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Rex Spies KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time. 816-330-6000 or rexspyskc.com.
Man, if your stream isn't as strong as it used to be, or you're taking more breaks to the bathroom than the last 2 minutes of a televised football game,
There's another timeout. We'll be back after this.
it's time to get checked. An enlarged prostate, or BPH, could be the cause. And Kansas City Urology Care is here to help. Fast answers, trusted care. Don't wait. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced urology team. Visit kcuc.com today. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
Hey, it's the Lawman giving you a couple updates. Just settled a case for $1.175 million on a commercial vehicle accident, $750,000 on a motorcycle accident, $557,500 on a premise liability case. Call the Lawman. If you've been charged with a felony DWI, call the Lawman. You only got a short window to get the admin filed in Missouri and in Kansas. Call me now.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision. It shouldn't be based solely on advertisements.
You already know that every Royals game is right here on 96.5 The Fan. But if you're looking for more Royals coverage, tune in to hear Royals insider Josh Fernier throughout the week. He joins Fesco and Dusty every Monday morning at 8:20. Cody and Gold every Wednesday at 12:30. And he joins The Drive every Friday at 3. Miss anything? Check it out on the show podcast or All Things Fern Channel, wherever you get your podcasts. This is your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, Jackson, you talked me into it. We're not going to do 15 minutes, but we'll do, 6-8 minutes here. Just favorite moments from inside the NBA on TNT. Chuck, Kenny, Ernie, and Shaq. Just do it. It's the best sports show on television.
Really is.
I stand by that statement. I don't care what it is. Any night that you watch that show, there are just pure laugh out loud sort of moments because these guys are just pure chaos. They're there to talk about and cover the NBA. I'm not sure how much covering of the NBA these guys actually do, but I mean, we talked about Chuck and his beef with the big old women in San Antonio. We talked about the dirty water in Galveston. For some reason, Chuck just doesn't like Texas all that much. I'm beginning to kind of pick up on.
Yeah.
What are some other good ones that we got? The one I think back to was, I think it was like a Christmas episode where Kenny does that thing where he races to the monitor, that big monitor that they had behind him at the desk in the studio when they were on TNT. And it was around Christmas time, and they're running to the back monitor, and Shaq tries to race him to the monitor, and Kenny just barrels him into the Christmas tree.
That was great. There's a couple that come to mind for me. One is when Chuck is trying to describe something like in a post play, and he goes, "When a guy's banging you,
oh yeah,"
and you just hear Shaq on the other side, you can hear in the mic. He's just like, and then they're like, "Oh no," and they just can't get the show back on track. They have to go to break. It's hilarious. The other one is, I don't know if this was on Inside the NBA, but it was Chuck, and maybe it was like a March Madness one. He's with Kenny, and he was talking about, back in the day, we had to take our showers. We had to clean our jerseys. We had to take showers in them. We had to take showers in our jerseys to clean them. And Kenny's like, we never had to do that. No one ever had to do that. And he's like, how are you going to get it clean? And they're like, what? He's like, if you had to fly and get a game the next day, you had to shower in your jersey and clean yourself in your jersey. They just lost it, man. That was an all-timer.
Not sure what they were doing in Phoenix in that era. They were.
That was probably just early. Chuck. I doubt the whole team was doing it.
I doubt it. One of the ones I love it when like they get serious, like one of the guys gets really offended.
Yes.
When they were doing the panel thing, and it was like Chuck was going to say something, and then Kenny was going to say something, and then Shaq was going to say something. Chuck said his piece, Kenny said his piece, and then Chuck said something else, and Shaq went ballistic. Yep. He's like, it's 1, 2, 3, not 1, 2, and back to 1. And he absolutely, and Ernie's just dying listening to these guys argue about it. The gas, filling up your gas tank. where Shaq was adamant that if you just let your car get to half full and then fill it up, you're only paying $40 versus letting it get all the way down to empty and filling it up with $80.
Yes.
He legitimately thought that you were like saving money in doing it. And Shaq got so offended by pushing those guys, because they were absolutely dogging on him.
Howling. That was so good. Gosh, I mean, I brought it up in the last one, but the Rockets Clippers where they have the fight and they had to call police presence.
Oh, yeah.
And so they have this poor woman reporter doing her stand-up, doing her professional stand-up, talking about it. And in the middle of her stand-up, you can just hear Shaq and Chuck just go like, and they just start laughing. And they're like, we're not laughing at you. And then they're just like, call the police. Chris Paul's trying to beat me up. I'm Blake Griffin. I'm 7 foot tall. Chris Paul's trying to beat me up.
I can't remember the context of it, but there was.
Do yourself a favor tonight when you get home. Look
just
up
watch the video. Yeah, just video
go through a compilation of it or something.
Oh.
And it's so good.
There was one. Shaq was talking about something, and he's like, "Yeah, this guy called me something, or he was talking about something like what I look like." And Chuck just under his breath goes, "Shrek."
Yes.
And Ernie loses it.
They were like
Ernie absolutely, and like Shaq took his glasses off. He was so mad. He was ready to go up and
people
fight
behind
him.
the camera start laughing. They were like, "Who do they
and
mistake you for?"
He's like looking. He's like looking at the production crew.
He's trying to see who's laughing.
He's like,
who's
"Oh,
saying
okay,
what.
okay." So we're laughing, huh?
Yeah. He's like, "Oh, okay. Who's saying that one?"
Oh, dude, there are some. Yeah, who do they mistake you for? Shrek.
Shrek. Yep, that was it.
Oh my God, there's so many good ones on this show. The one where Shaq tries to get out of his chair and race Kenny to the monitor, and he trips over the wiring and just eats it. Down goes Shaq. Kenny just starts screaming it.
Oh man, there's so many good ones. I'm probably forgetting so many classic ones over the years, but the one you brought up, it's 1, 2, 3, not 1, 2,
1, 2, and back to
one. And they're like, "Well, you can talk now," and he's like, "I'm good." He's like, "No, go ahead, I'm good."
Done. When they did oh my goodness, what was it, like the ghost pepper chip challenge?
Yes.
And Shaq was just, I'm not gonna react. I'm not going to do nothing. He took one bite and then tried to take a breath in and started coughing all over the place. And then he's arguing that he wasn't reacting. Like, big dog, you obviously did. Oh, there's so many good ones on this show.
I think this was a little earlier on Inside the NBA, like back when it was like way back, but Shaq thought it was faster to fly to the moon than it was to drive to California. They had to bring like an astronaut on and be like, "Yeah, it takes like 3 days, dude." And he's like, Shaq was just convinced you could fly to the moon like in a couple of hours.
I think that's what makes this show so beautiful. Is like they're not pretending to be something that they're not.
Right.
Like they are just 4 dudes just that like love each other and they love basketball and they're just gonna they're just there, man. Like they're just enjoying themselves and doing the churros. Oh my God. The churro. And that was the best part of like this last NBA finals when they brought the mayor of San Antonio on, is the mayor showed up with churros for like the whole desk because he's just in there. Those women in San Antonio just in there wolfing down them churros. And you're like,
"Do that again, Chuck. Do that again, Chuck. Show me how they eat those churros, Chuck." Oh,
and he did it. He just straight up did it.
Doing it, dude. Yeah. I tell you, this one's pretty niche. It'll be the last one I bring up, but it's one of my all-time favorites. Is they were doing like a thing on Danny Green, who's a longtime player for the Spurs and whatnot. And it's like he has like some birds or like some pets. I don't know if they're like parrots or what. And I forgot which one said it, but they're like, he doesn't have any human friends. Does he have any human friends? All time.
Oh God, yeah.
All time.
It might have been like parakeets or something. They were like
some sort of
bright
bird.
green. These birds were like bright green, if I remember right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Danny Green. He's got green birds. Yeah. It was Chuck.
Yeah. He's like, does he have any human friends?
Said, "You know what, Ernie? Every time I see that guy, he's playing with animals. He doesn't have no human friends. Come on, man."
Oh man, I'm
It's
laughing
so good,
about to
dude.
cry back here.
When a guy's banging you.
Someone in the text line brought up one we totally missed, the Cardi B one this year.
Yes, dude. Oh, was that the NBA Finals?
Had to have been.
It was San Antonio, New York. In San Antonio, there were those two girls behind the bench who I believe were adult content creators, if I remember correctly.
Had to have been.
Oh, yeah. And that's not Cardi B. That's Cardi Double D. Good God, Chuck. What are we doing, bro?
I know the FCC listens very closely every night that show is on.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, my God.
Just phenomenal,
My stomach
dude.
hurts right now laughing back here.
I'm juggling two balls, Kenny.
I'm juggling two balls.
And sometimes that's the way it goes, man, you know?
Yeah.
But those are things that, like, it's funny because it happens in this business. Like, you say something and you can be completely well-intentioned, but it gets taken and spun on its head. I got a 620 in the text line who's asking for the "Let me see your meat, bro" drop because I was doing Cody and Gold. It was like Thanksgiving. It was right around Thanksgiving. We were talking about like our favorite foods on Thanksgiving. And I was saying that I prefer like a dark meat turkey versus white meat turkey. And something happened and I said something to the effect of, "Let me see your meat, bro." Like talking about like actual like turkey meat. And Drew clipped it and it has been played religiously on this radio station for the better part of a year. Things like that are just like, it can be completely well-intentioned. Like, we all know what Chuck meant when he said, well, when a guy's banging you, like you're down in the low block, guy's trying to get position, he's throwing a shoulder into you. You know, we all got it from a basketball context. But the way he said it was like, hey, yo. It happens sometimes. So those guys remind me of Ron Weasley's older brothers. Czech and Chuck are the Weasley twins. Fred and George, shout out. God, dude, a Goran Dragic reference and a Harry Potter reference completely organically on this show. What a Thursday.
I was going to say, and when you were doing that interview, I was like, my head went up when I heard Goran Dragic, because I'm a Heat fan. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, so is Jordan.
Dragic. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, Jordan's also a huge Miami Heat
we're talking
fan.
Bubble Ball? I'm listening now.
Hey, Goran Dragic. You want to talk about one of the most underrated point guards of the 21st century? Goran Dragic.
If there was a Hall of Pretty Good, he would be a first ballot. Like, I don't think he's a Hall of Famer, but if we're just going like, that guy was pretty nice.
I honestly think there is like an NBA Hall of Pretty Good,
There's
like a
an
Twitter
MLB
account. I think there's an NBA one, and I'm pretty sure Goran Dragic is like in the Hall of Pretty Good because he had a couple of All-Star appearances.
He was really good on the Suns. He had some really good runs with the Heat.
Yeah, he came in played for a while in the NBA. 15 years in the league, and I think he went to at least one All-Star game. He finished 16th in the MVP voting one year. The year he won Most Improved Player. When he was in Phoenix, he averaged 20 points a game and almost 6 assists a night. And true story. Playing basketball at the rec center at Northwest Missouri State my freshman year, and I play the point. I'm 5'9", so duh. I'm left-handed, and I like to set on the perimeter. So I was shooting some threes. I was playing with a bunch of guys that were on the Northwest football team, and they just started calling me Goran Dragic. And then they started calling me Dragic. And my whole freshman year of college, when I went and played pickup at the rec center, I got called Dragic by people because I was a white left-handed point guard, just like Goran Dragic. Is he from Spain?
I want to say yes.
I might be wrong. No, he's from Slovenia.
Okay.
Started with an S. I was close.
Yeah, you're close enough.
913-586-7965 is our number. I can't believe we got off on out into left field talking about our favorite inside the NBA moments, but sometimes you just have to. It's just the way it goes sometimes. But the college football season is a week away. We're 9 days out from the start of the college football season. Can't wait for it. The NFL is getting closer and closer. And we've got a few updates in regards to college football itself in regards to not the NFL as a whole, but the Kansas City Chiefs, who made a free agent move earlier today that probably won't have any ramifications on the season as a whole. At least, frankly, we hope not. Logan Weber alongside Jackson Ogden. You're listening to After Hours. Our text line, 913-586-7965, our number. Here on 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports.
You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
And Doug. Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Today, we tip our wrench to Rock Auto customer Noah.
My first car was a 2001 Dodge Neon with a blue wing, and it happened to match my high school sweetheart, who's now my wife, her black 2005. So my uncle has been in the industry for well over 25 years. He recommended Rock Auto immediately to buy my first set of brakes. I would recommend Rock Auto just because it's simple, it's easy to find the parts you're looking for, it's all at a good price.
All the parts your car will ever need, Rock Auto.
What's up, fools? Main event Jey Uso here from the WWE. When it's just me between matches, it's day one-ish. And that means it's Chumba time. With hundreds of casino-style games and new titles arriving weekly, there's always something fresh to try at Chumba Casino. The daily boosts make it even more fun. And have me about to get them all during my downtime. Ready for a fun way to chill out and enjoy a few minutes for yourself? Let's Chumba.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See T's and C's. 21 plus. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
When your plumbing systems need help, AB May is here to help your house feel like a home again. Serving Kansas City for over 65 years, AB May handles sump pumps, water heater installs, drain clearing, sewer line repairs, and much more. When it comes to your home, solved is our standard. And AB May is committed to doing things the right way every time. Trusted by generations. Call AB May at 913-383-2222 or visit abmay.com today.
Call your serviceman from AB May.
The first ever Infiniti QX65 feels unstoppable. In a world that is frozen in its ways, this sporty fastback SUV never stops moving forward. Turbocharged performance. Intelligent all-wheel drive standard. ProPilot Assist 2.1. This is a ride beyond the expected. This is unstoppable progress. Discover the first ever Infiniti QX65 at InfinityUSA.com. 2027 QX65 expected early summer 2026.
Hi, I'm Jacob, your friend and an actual jeweler craftsman at Shane Company. I'm proud to work for a family business that's been committed to the highest quality standards for nearly 100 years. Your dream engagement ring is designed for quality every step of the way. We set your diamond by hand, not with machines. Prong tips are beautiful and secure, and intricate details are thoughtfully crafted. At Shane Company, there's no shortcuts, just craftsmanship. Because a friend knows true love deserves the highest quality. Visit us in store or at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have a health reminder from the CDC.
Pneumococcal vaccination is recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose. And millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
Earlier today, it was announced that the Kansas City Chiefs have signed a new offensive tackle. Not really a huge move by any means, but it is kind of interesting. Chiefs bringing in a former offensive tackle from the UFL who last year was with the Louisville team. Kellen Deesh, not exactly sure how to pronounce that last name. They waived Mike Waletzko in a corresponding move because of an injury that he's dealing with. An injury designation was put to clear the roster spot for him. Deesh was first started his career at Texas A&M, wound up at Arizona State, where he was a two-time All Pac-12 performer. That's how long ago he was at Arizona State. They were still in the Pac-12 at that time. He's only 26 years old, but has yet to play a snap in the NFL. He was signed as an undrafted free agent from Miami. Then he went to the Bears, the Steelers, the Browns, the Patriots, and the Titans over the course of the next 3 seasons without ever appearing in an NFL game. He then ended up in the UFL, where he signed with Arlington and then got traded to Memphis. He got selected by Houston's new UFL team earlier this year in mid-April, and then he got cut and he got signed by Louisville and ended up starting a couple of games for them, and they ended up winning the UFL championship. So I don't see him as anything more than a depth piece, possibly a practice squad guy in the event that injuries continue to happen with this Chiefs team. So hopefully he's a guy, I hate to put it this way, but hopefully it's a guy we never see in a Chiefs uniform because the Chiefs simply don't need him. Jalen Moore and Josh Simmons and Asa Pole and Khalil Benson stay healthy. The Chiefs keep their tackle depth all season long, and they never have to worry about pulling a guy up from the practice squad like they had to do last year when they brought in Asa Pole and Chu Godric to kind of come in and play tackle because of injuries to everybody. Josh Simmons went down. Jalen Moore went down. Jawan Taylor went down. Wanye Morris went down with an injury. Any tackle the Royals or the Chiefs seemingly threw out there was getting hurt. So I hate to put it that way, but hopefully we never see Kellen Deesh in a Chiefs uniform this season because the Chiefs tackles stay healthy. One other big bit of Kansas City related news is that the Kansas City Council has officially approved the plans for the downtown ballpark. It appears that $600 million has been earmarked for the project itself. They are moving forward with the idea. They committed, $600 million to the project. It's the biggest part of this situation yet. I guess since the stadium was announced and the Downtown Ballpark was ushered forward. So the project could begin very, very shortly here as we get set for downtown baseball in Kansas City. And Mayor Lucas said today, "I look forward to opening day in 2030 and the thousands of good-paying union jobs to come to our downtown." So 2030, not 2031, 2030, which I find a little bit interesting because I believe that their lease with Kauffman ends after the 2030 season. I don't know what to make of that.
As well. I thought it ran through 2030. Maybe they're buying out a year? I'm not sure. Maybe he misspoke. I don't know. I thought the Chiefs and Royals were here through 2030, and then in 2031 they could go wherever they're going to go. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I'm not exactly
Text line
sure.
can maybe help me out on that one because that's what I had been told in the past.
It was an 11-2 vote with only 2 council members voting no, Jonathan Duncan and Nathan Willett, both voting no to the project. I don't know. Sounds like downtown ballpark is coming down the pike. It's not the last thing that needs to happen, but all the wheels are turning in the right direction. The council has approved the framework for how it intends to pay for its part of the stadium project. That's according to the Kansas City Star. There still are more steps that remain. A TIF commission is expected to consider a tax increment to finance the plan for the downtown stadium. They need to have more information about the financing. That's expected to be published tomorrow. They're also going to vote on a related rezoning plan in September that would set flexible standards for future redevelopment in Crown Center. So, more or less the area around it, because this is the stadium itself is the biggest part of this, yes, but it is just one part of what Kansas City and the Royals are hoping will become an entertainment district. It will become a fabric of the part of the city downtown. They're saying a $3 billion entertainment district with that $1.9 billion stadium at its core, with the city offering $600, $760 from the team, and state funding that could estimate at roughly $540 million. Some big news stories coming out of the city here today on this Thursday. 913-586-7965 is our number. Logan Weber here with you alongside my producer tonight. That's Jackson Ogden. After Hours, 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
Men, if your energy is down, your workouts aren't producing results, you're gaining stubborn weight, losing muscle, sleeping poorly, or just not feeling like yourself anymore, it may be more than just aging. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. Our low T and body composition treatments are designed to help men regain energy, improve focus, sleep better, build lean muscle, reduce unwanted fat, and restore confidence both in and out of the gym. At Heartland Men's Health, we specialize in helping men optimize their health, performance, and vitality. Using personalized medical treatments tailored to your health and goals, many men begin noticing improvements in energy, mental clarity, recovery, motivation.
For details.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years guaranteed? Now through August 24th, new Xfinity Customs. Plus, it keeps you protected from online threats. And get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable. Learn more at Xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi.
This summer, the Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich and Pineapple Dragon Fruit and Sprite are back at Chick-fil-A.
Girl, it's back. We've been waiting. I love that honey pepper pimento sandwich.
And that pineapple dragon fruit and Sprite is everything. It's got that razzle-dazzle that makes you stop and say, okay, wait a minute.
I love the creaminess of the pimento cheese. It's savory, it's bold, it's flavorful.
Our faves are back. High five, girl.
Which fan favorite will you choose? Real customers paid for their testimonials.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/team. That's ZipRecruiter.com/team.
ZipRecruiter. You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
While the Chiefs don't play their second preseason game of the year until Saturday, there is a preseason game going on right now and one more scheduled for later on tonight. You got the Raiders and the Texans. taking part in their second preseason games of the year thus far. And I know that you don't put any kind of onus into what the preseason is at all, kind of like spring training with Major League Baseball, but Texans are putting it all on the Raiders. I mean, 17-0. First drive of the game, Texans had the majority of their starters out there, including C.J. Stroud, and Houston marched right down the field and punched one in with a Woody Marks touchdown. Since then, it's been Davis Mills. Houston leads 17-0. Fernando Mendoza has been the only quarterback out there for the Raiders thus far. Not having a great day. 3 for 6, 36 yards. He's been sacked once and thrown a pick. Seems like the Raiders thought of giving Kirk Cousins the starting nod and letting Mendoza sit and kind of learn an NFL system, learn how to be a pro. It might not be the worst call in the world.
And it's what teams should do with rookie quarterbacks more often. I think they throw them into the fire way too much, especially on bad teams like the Raiders. I mean, you think about Mahomes' situation where he got to come in and sit for a year on a pretty good team. Think of Jordan Love, who got to sit behind Rodgers on a pretty good team, and then Rodgers sat behind Favre on a pretty good team. Like, this normally has actually been beneficial for these guys, but a lot of teams rush guys like Trey Lance or Zach Wilson. I'm not saying those guys would have ever been superstars, but
Josh Rosen.
Yeah, you throw them right into the fire, and it's like, well, what chance did they have? I remember Blaine Gabbert out of Mizzou when he went to Jacksonville, and I was just like, you're going to throw him out there on this garbage team, and then, like, after 2 years of him having no help, give up on the project? I think the Raiders, what they're doing, it's smart with Mendoza. You have a good bridge quarterback in Cousins. You don't need to start him.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I will push back a little bit on the Blaine Gabbert thing because dude was straight up awful.
Oh, I'm not saying he was ever going to be anything, but that didn't help.
It didn't. It also did. I mean, I agree with you, and I think Blaine Gabbert didn't walk into the greatest of situations, but it certainly doesn't help that argument if you're in defense of Blaine Gabbert when you look at 2 years later, you had basically this same Jacksonville Jaguars roster with Blake Bortles at quarterback go all the way to the AFC title game. And you're like, I guess it wasn't 2 years later. It was probably, that was what, 2017?
They drafted Blaine in 11, and they did that in 2017.
Yeah.
So it would have been, Bortles was drafted in 14, so it would have been 3 years after.
Yeah, he was drafted as the replacement to Blaine Gabbert because Gabbert was there for 3 years, I think, there in Jacksonville. Yeah, his last year was rough. I mean, he only started 3 games, but they went 0-3. He completed, I'm trying to make sure I have this correct. He completed 48% of his passes for 481 yards. He had 1 touchdown and 7 picks.
Yeah, that's not good.
It's a rough go, Blaine.
That is not a good look.
I mean, I feel like that argument probably applies more readily to like Drew Lock than it does to Blaine Gabbert, because I feel like Drew Lock did some good things, but the Broncos never surrounded him with anything because they were so bad post Peyton Manning, and he had no real weapons at his disposal, and they benched him a couple of times, and then they're like, we're going to trade for Russell Wilson. Okay, let's see how much better this goes for you. It didn't. And now here's Bo Nix, and Broncos fans are getting delusional about Bo Nix all of a sudden. Did you see freaking Dave Portnoy, that moron from Barstool Sports, who had Drake May ahead of Patrick Mahomes on his best quarterbacks in the NFL
I just
list?
Ignore him. Anything New England related,
these people suck, dude.
You know, anything New England related, he's going to overhype. It's Dave. Anything Boston, he is going to be completely irrational about because that entire city is spoiled as spoiled gets when it comes to championships and sports. So it's just, I ignore Dave Portnoy. I don't take him seriously.
Yeah.
I don't care about Dave Portnoy.
Dave Portnoy's an idiot. Dan Orlovsky is getting paid under the table by his agent to hype up guys.
Me and Bink last Thursday, Logan, we went at Orlovsky on that list. We went through every ranking he had, and we went at Dan on that.
Unbelievable. Speaking of rankings, Okay, the NFL season's still a couple of weeks away. I got the official announcement. You know, the group chat was popping last week. We've got the date set for our fantasy football draft. I kind of want to spend a chunk of the 8 o'clock hour just talking about fantasy football. I know I'm kind of taking away some of the shine from Mac's fantasy football show that he does here on Sunday mornings, or will once we get closer to the start of the NFL season. But this is an interesting year for fantasy football. A lot of new names to consider, a lot of rookies that are getting some pub via NFL fantasy football. But some recent news has caused a lot of shifts in many of the mock drafts that I have seen in some of the positional rankings. Let's spend some time talking fantasy football. Why don't we do that in the 8 o'clock hour, huh? Here on After Hours, Logan Weber, Jackson Ogden, 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
Man, I should not have tried to handle this car wreck stuff myself.
Why?
Insurance keeps calling. I gotta find a body shop, rental car, doctor's appointments. Now they're asking for a bunch of other things.
Dude, why are you trying to do this yourself?
Call the Car Crash Kings.
That's literally what they do. You worry about getting better. They deal with the insurance, the paperwork, the calls, all of it.
Hurt in a car wreck? Don't do it yourself. Call the Car Crash Kings. It's what we do.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely from advertisements.
Hi, I'm Carter. And I'm Charlie. We'd like to share a quick story about a homeowner named Jack. Jack had a home he needed to sell fast. And Jack thought he had it all figured out. So Jack talked to multiple cash buyers. Jack chose the highest offer. But the day before closing, guess what? The buyer backed out, leaving Jack with the moving truck all packed in the driveway and not sure what to do. Jack learned the hard way that the highest offer isn't always the right offer. Jack got suckered. Make sure you aren't hung out to dry. Call our dad at Rex Buys KC. Our dad is local, he knows Kansas City, and he actually closes deals. No repairs, no fees, no showings, no surprises. Just a fair cash offer and a smooth process. Now, don't be like Jack. Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time.
You work hard, you pay your bills, but with credit cards, higher gas and grocery prices, you're making the payments, but not getting ahead. This is James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak Lending. Golden Oak can help you refinance, consolidate bills, and free up monthly cash flow. Call today for a free mortgage checkup. There's never a charge to talk with us.
Golden Oak Landing, cured my blues.
NMLS 114937. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Telly Tire and Auto Center's biggest sale of the year is back. The tires at cost sale. That's right, you pay what we pay, plus mounting and balancing for only $30 per tire. Reserve yours at TELLEtire.com. Take care of your car, take it to Telly. Additional charges apply for tire disposal and road hazard warranty.
This summer, Casey's has 89-cent medium fountain and new Frostbite by Casey's drinks. But if you don't have 89 cents, you could check your center console, dig between your couch cushions, ask Grandma for $1, or just use your credit card. 89-cent medium Frostbite by Casey's or fountain drinks at Casey's. All summer long. Restrictions may apply. See store for details.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circus Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. Dane Hughes here, and for everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circus Sports app. Then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circus Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circusports.com today. Must be 21 or older in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
QC Kinetics helps active people stay active. People like David Boardman, police officer, competitive athlete, and gym owner who trains hard almost every day.
My body's taken a lot of abuse over the years. I've had multiple knee surgeries on both of my knees. I could barely run a mile prior to going to QC Kinetics. Doctors have all told me, hey, you are going to need knee replacements.
But QC Kinetics gave David great news.
We're going to give you the opportunity to have not one, but two healthy knees, and we don't have to cut you open.
And after David's regenerative treatments, splits at QC Kinetics?
Since I've gone to them, I run 20, 30 miles a week. I really wouldn't be able to do that if it wasn't for QC Kinetics.
From knee pain to Ironman training.
It's a no-brainer.
Now it's your turn. Call QC Kinetics to book your free consultation today.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
This is your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey Sports Station.
Yeah, just opened my ESPN Fantasy app. And here we go. 16 days, 21 hours, 25 minutes, and 45 seconds until my league's fantasy football draft, one of the leagues that I'm in, I should say, with a bunch of my old high school buddies. So that September 6th is when we're drafting, like the Sunday before the NFL season begins. And that's the first bit of advice that I'll give anybody is please don't tell me that you've already had your fantasy draft or that your fantasy draft isn't like this weekend. Like, wait for the preseason to be done, because if you're drafting like now, and I'm just throwing out a name. I'm not trying to speak it into existence or anything, but say that like you go out and you have the third overall pick and you take Puka Nacua, and then Puka Nacua gets hurt in the Rams' third preseason game for the year. He tears his ACL. He's done. You're screwed before the season even starts. It's the first thing I'll say with fantasy football. Yeah. You wait.
If there was ever a learning lesson to wait, it should have been 2019 when Andrew Luck retired in the middle of the preseason. That was like, just stop drafting before the preseason.
The middle of a preseason game at that.
You don't draft until after the preseason. I have been on that team ever since then. We were talking during the break, Logan. I am in a dynasty league as well. Oof. And bad news for me this week. Jaden Higgins torn ACL on the Texans.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Guys, that was unfortunate to hear. Now, it doesn't completely throw a wrench in my season. I'm not, I've got JSN and Jefferson. I'll be all right. But, the depth you need in a dynasty league, that was tough. Just another, in dynasty, you don't draft every year. You only draft rookies. You keep all your other guys. But if you're doing a traditional league, which I'm assuming most of you are, just wait. Labor Day weekend, perfect weekend to do it.
Yeah, somebody in the text line said that he said my group chat scheduled it for Saturday. Who's the commissioner of your league? Because you need to get into contact with that person directly, okay? Or better yet, give us his phone number, okay? We'll contact him directly, and we'll try to get this thing sorted. Because having your fantasy football draft 3 weeks before the season starts, absolutely ludicrous, man. Like, when there were 4 preseason games, if you wanted to have the draft on like the Saturday before the 4th preseason game back in those days, back when it was 4, okay, fair. But in today's day and age, when there's 3 preseason games and a full week of nothing going on prior to week 1 of the regular season, absolutely not. Absolutely do not have your draft that early. But mine's in a couple of weeks. Jackson, you informed me that you've got a bit of a problem in one of your leagues because you are the commissioner of that league, and the draft order gods paid you big time dividends, but your team, your opponents in your league don't really appreciate it.
Yeah, so what we do every year in this, I have 2 leagues. The Dynasty one I've talked about, but we also have a redraft league, which is a normal league like everybody else plays, right? We have 12 of us. I've been the commissioner of it for as long as I can remember, ever since this league had started. And every year, instead of just having the app do the random draft, because back in the day, the app wouldn't even randomize it. You had to manually set it. So we've always just put all our names on a wheel, just spin the wheel. And every time it lands on you, so let's say you're the first person landed on, you're the 12th pick, and it's an eliminator all the way until you get down to the final 2. Unfortunately, fortunately for me, I got the first pick for once. This is the first time I've ever had it. I've never had the first pick, so this will be a first for me. But the league is convinced I'm a part of some collusion scheme now and that I just did it until I got my way, which I promise is not the case because I've gone through the past few years. I took Jefferson last year. He was a huge disappointment. In 2023, I took Austin Eckler. He fell off a cliff. I'm not sure. I think I'm going Jahmyr Gibbs at 1, and I'm not sure that's a good thing for Jahmyr Gibbs with my history because my first-round pick normally doesn't pan out. So, I do have the first pick in my league. Thinks I rigged it. That's just part of being the commissioner. Oh, well.
It's the way it goes, man. It's unfortunate. But
it's fortunate if you. I don't care.
For you.
I don't care. I didn't rig it.
I can recall in all the years that I've played fantasy football, which goes back to 2008. That was I was 10 years old. First year of fantasy football that I played. My dad had to make an email for me to use, and in that day and age, it was a Yahoo fantasy football league. So my dad had to make a Yahoo account for me. He used his name as the email address for my Yahoo account. I still use that email to this day. I still am actively using a Yahoo email account. Now, I mostly use it to sign up for things that I'm never going to use frequently. So I have a Fabletics account through that email and an Adidas, all these random businesses that I buy stuff online from once and then never use again. But in all the years I've played fantasy football, I have only ever had the number 1 overall pick one time. And that was because I had the number 4 or 5 pick the year before, and I had Tom Brady was my quarterback, and that was the ACL tear. And so I was the worst team in the league. And this fantasy football league in general, we don't play it anymore, but this league that I was in with a bunch of my middle school buddies, it had a running system where the draft order was based off of your previous year performance. It didn't randomize. So if you finished last in the league, you got the first overall pick the next year. And that 2008 season, or 2009, that would have been, 2009 season, I drafted Adrian Peterson, first overall. And he went nuclear that year. He had 1,400 rushing yards and 18 touchdowns, and he was absolutely ridiculous. I got all the way to the championship. From dead last to in the championship on my life, up by 4 fantasy points in the championship last week of the regular season. AP gets the football, running down the sideline. Guy comes up from behind, punches the ball loose, fumble, defense recovers. I go from up 4 to down 2 because I lose 6 points for the fumble and I lost the championship. I was
That's
11.
brutal.
I was 11 years old, just heartbroken over what I had just witnessed.
That is brutal. I'll tell you, last year in one of my leagues, I was the 1 seed, and it was in the Dynasty League, and I lost because I started Lamar instead of Trevor Lawrence, and Lamar gave me 13, and Trevor Lawrence scored 40 on my bench. Would I go back and change? I would do it over again. I would start Lamar over Trevor Lawrence in a fantasy lineup any day of the week.
Yeah.
But ouch, did that one hurt last year. Logan, it's kind of in the fantasy realm. I'm going to ask you, do you ever play Survivor?
No, never played in a Survivor League.
Dude, you've got to join a Survivor League this year, man. I've got to get you on that. I've been looking at the week 1s already for this, and I think Chargers to beat the Cardinals, probably the safest bet of week 1. But
yeah.
I want to save the Chiefs for the Dolphins or the Jets or somebody later down the line, but I got to get you on that. There's so many, because I don't just stop at regular fantasy. I will do weekly pick'ems. I'll do everything you can do within the fantasy realm.
I'm not sure I have that much bandwidth. I've got the 3 fantasy football leagues that I'm in right now.
That's more than I'm in, to be fair.
And that's enough for me. One of them is a family fantasy football league with my wife and her side of the family. So I'm in a fantasy league with my in-laws. So it's my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law, my wife, my mother-in-law, and my father-in-law. So it's a 6-person fantasy football league that we've done the last couple of years. Everybody's looking at me all the time. Anytime there's a sports-related question that they don't know the answer to, I'm getting a text, I'm getting a phone call. So I walk into this fantasy football league, and it's well, you talk about sports for a living, so you should dominate us. And last year, I lost in the championship of my fantasy football league with my in-laws to my wife.
That's tough.
Yeah, that's a tough pill to swallow, especially when she comes to me on Sunday mornings and she's like, "Can you look at my team and make sure that it's good?" And then she beats me in the title game, and I'm like, "I've created a monster. What have I done?"
When I was growing up, every Sunday, my mom, and my dad would go through all the games, and we'd do a pick 'em. We would just pick who we think's going to win. Me and my dad were so into football. My mom would watch it if it was on, but she wasn't, as into it. She knew what was going on. She wasn't completely oblivious, but all she would ask me every time she was making a pick is she was like, "Who's the quarterback and who's the coach?" She knew nothing else. Wiped us. Just wiped. There was a few weeks there where she didn't lose a game, and I was just like, "What?"
Been there.
Calling the dumbest upsets ever, and they happen, and I'm just like,
"Yep."
If sports betting was legal back then, I might be a billionaire by now because of her. She was really onto something.
I mean, I to a T almost, except not NFL related. March Madness.
It's like the more you know, the worse.
Yeah, March Madness we still do it. Big family March Madness bracket every year with my mom and my dad and my 2 younger siblings and I. And 4 years in a row, my little sister won the league, won the family bracket. She was 8. She won it back-to-back years because she picked the Butler Bulldogs to win the national championship.
Shout out Gordon Hayward, Brad Stevens.
Hold on. Yeah. Gordon Hayward, Brad Stevens. Yeah, you throw out all the names from the team. Would you like to know why my little sister, who at that age, it was like elementary school, why she picked the Butler Bulldogs to win the national championship in back-to-back years, ultimately winning our bracket because of it?
Why's that?
She wanted one.
Which one of the Bulldogs?
A Butler.
Oh.
She wanted a Butler. She didn't even know their mascot was the Bulldogs. She saw Butler. She wanted a Butler at our house. And so she picked Butler to win the national championship.
You would think a young kid would want the puppy. They'd want the dog, not the Butler.
She would have wanted the dog too, except we already had 2 dogs, and she knew so little about sports at that point. She didn't even know what the Butler She didn't know the Butler was the Bulldogs. She just saw Butler and was like, "Oh, I'd like originally walking around my house getting me drinks and snacks and stuff." She won the fantasy football or won the March Madness bracket.
March Madness, I will always say, the less you know, the better. That's
unreal.
I had a buddy a couple years ago who finished top 100 in the world on his bracket. It was the weird year that San Diego State made the chip against UConn. And who else was in there? It was all the 1 seeds were out by the Elite Eight.
Was that Cardiac Kimba and that UConn team?
No, this was 2023. This was recent.
Oh yeah.
This was
San Diego State and Florida Atlantic were in that Final Four.
He had 3 of the Final Four that year. The only team he didn't have was Purdue, who hilariously lost to Fairleigh Dickinson in the first round. But he had the other 3. He had FAU, San Diego State, and UConn. And I think he finished 150th in the world. It was just a ridiculous bracket, and I was like
San Diego State was a 5 seed that year, and I want to say Florida Atlantic. I want to say Florida Atlantic was an 8 or a 9 seed.
San Diego State was a 5. UConn was a 4. No 1 seed even made it to the Elite Eight, and I was just like, he doesn't even watch college basketball. He didn't even know what he's talking about. He just nailed it, and I was like, I gotta stop watching so much. I know too much.
Yeah, valid. And then this year, my bracket was garbage because I had Florida in the Final Four.
Over your Hawkeyes?
Oh, dude, I had no hope. None. I'm just glad they got here. I had Iowa beating Clemson and then getting boat raced by Florida. They were the defending national champions and returned 4 starters. I thought that they were a shoo-in to get to a Final Four. Alvaro Fulgaris, I know you're in a Louisville uniform now, but you will always hold a special place in my heart. I will love you forever for what you did. And it destroyed my bracket, but I don't care because I got to watch Iowa basketball compete in an Elite Eight for the first time in my life.
Cool. I mean, I picked against Mizzou in the first round against Miami, and everyone was like, "Aren't you a Mizzou fan?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's why I'm doing it."
You gotta be. Sometimes you gotta be honest with yourself.
Better. I know better than to pick them in March Madness. I know better. The game's in St. Louis. It's basically a home game. It doesn't matter. It never matters. They're never gonna win. It just never matters.
I don't think home court advantage mattered too much against Norfolk State. Sorry.
It never matters. That program will find ways to lose no matter how big of a favorite they are. They will always find a way.
That's the way it goes, man. We were talking about fantasy football. We kind of deviated away from that, but we're going to bring it back when we come back, and that is that we're going to get into some of the rankings, some of the weeds of fantasy football. Guys that we think are absolute hits for fantasy football this year, guys that we're looking at to kind of avoid as we go into 2026, because these rankings can mean a whole hell of a lot until one thing goes wrong. So this is for your sake. This is for our sake a little bit too. I want to talk this through with somebody, get my bearings a little bit more on my fantasy football landscape for 2026 before the draft in a couple of weeks here on After Hours. Logan Weber joining you here, hosting the program tonight alongside my producer, Jackson Ogden. 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan. And Doug.
Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Hey, it's almost Andy Reid. Don't let garage door problems sideline your summer plans. Renner Garage Door is ready to tackle repairs, tune-ups, and replacements. Get your free repair or replacement quote today, plus $100 off a new garage door. Featuring trusted brands like Geldon, A-Bar, and LiftMaster, Renner delivers the quality, reliability, and performance your home can count on. RennerDoor.com and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
Kansas City, you need to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can watch all your favorite shows right from your phone, computer, or tablet. Every day, we stream the shows live on YouTube, plus clips from the biggest moments and biggest guests. Hit that subscribe button so 96.5 The Fan goes right to the top of your feed. In your car, on your phone, or on your computer, we are everywhere. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Somebody in the text line just said, would you read a book with the premise where the reason the Vegas odds makers are so good at setting lines is because they use a time machine, the prediction machine, to transmit with the future, and the main character steals said device and uses it to pick a perfect bracket during March Madness, gaining nationwide fame while on the run from the odds makers?
That sounds a lot like Back to the Future.
That's literally what I'm typing.
That sounds like
I'm actively typing. Is that not the secondary storyline of Back to the Future 2?
Biff, my bad.
Yeah.
Doesn't Biff get the sports book with all the sports lines in it?
Yes,
and then
because Marty goes to the future. He goes to 2015 in Back to the Future 2. He buys the sports almanac from 1985, and he takes it back to 1985. Yeah, he ends up with the sports. Yeah, it's just...
That is Back to the Future
That's literally Biff's storyline in Back to the Future 2 a little bit. That's how he ends up getting all this money. He has the huge casino. He marries Marty's mom because Marty's dad died. Yeah, that's... I like where you're coming from, and would I read that book? Maybe, but I think we can all admit that's kind of the storyline of Back to the Future 2, or at least Biff's storyline, that secondary part of it. That's so funny. I was actively typing that out as you said it. And it was like, okay, as long as we're thinking along the same lines, I like where we're at here. Same wavelength. All right, we're talking fantasy football here on this final hour of After Hours here, 96.5 The Fan. Logan Weber alongside Jackson Ogden. 913-586-7965. If you've got specific fantasy football related questions for us, shoot them our way. We'll get them answered as best we can. And Jackson, you asked me a question during the break about your dilemma right? It's a beauty and a curse to have the number 1 overall pick in your fantasy football draft. I would almost prefer to have the second pick because a lot of times you're kind of cut between two players, and having the second overall pick, that pressure's taken off of you.
Right.
You just pick whoever the other guy doesn't, right?
I totally agree.
But with you having the first overall pick, everybody, and I mean quite literally everybody, is talking about Jahmyr Gibbs or Bijan Robinson. Where do you go 1-1? And I said to you, and I'll say it again here, I lean towards Jahmyr Gibbs. And I don't say that because I believe that Jahmyr Gibbs is a better talent than Bijan Robinson. I think Bijan Robinson is going to have a chance to prove this year that he's the best running back in football. The problem is he's on a god-awful roster with a god-awful offense. Yeah, Drake London's a good wide receiver, and yeah, Kyle Pitts is coming off of the best year of his career thus far. Not that that's saying much, but between Michael Penix and Tua Tagovailoa, the passing game's going to be abysmal, which means that they are going to rely heavily on Bijan. But defenses are also going to recognize that. And so they're going to key in on Bijan a little bit more. He may get 22 to 25 carries a game or 22 to 25 touches a game this year. But when nobody else on your offense is striking fear into your opponent, they can key in on you. They can put 7-8 guys in the box. They can have somebody spying Bijan all game long. Jahmyr Gibbs in Detroit, he's on a solid football team with a solid offense.
Yeah.
Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jamison Williams and even Isaac Tesla did some good things last year. The Lions have a lot of belief that Sam Laporta can bounce back from an injury-riddled season a year ago. You still have Jared Goff, who put up top 5 quarterback numbers last year in Detroit, along with a fairly solid offensive line, and no David Montgomery. Think about how good Jahmyr Gibbs has been the last 2 years while splitting carries with David Montgomery. Well, he's in Houston now, so you don't have to worry about that. Jahmyr Gibbs is going to get force-fed the football. Dan Campbell's already said as much. I look at the surrounding cast, and I see that the Lions are not going to go away from the running game. Not with how good a player Jahmyr Gibbs is. He's going to get more run now that he doesn't have the Sonic and Knuckles thing going with he and David Montgomery. I lean Jahmyr Gibbs if I'm in your situation.
Yeah, that's where I'm leaning to. I do think as a real life NFL running back, I think Bijan's better, and that's where my holdup has kind of been. But you're right in the sense that the offense for Detroit is just going to be so much better than Atlanta's. You actually have a real quarterback playing in Detroit instead of whatever's going on in Atlanta with Tua and Penix or whoever they throw out there. And we know, Jahmyr Gibbs was awesome with David Montgomery there. Now that he's gone, he's going to be even more used, like you just mentioned. And it's not like Pacheco's going to take away those touches. We know Pacheco's not going to take away those touches. Maybe a few goal line touches throughout the season, but that would be it. I think the only concern with Gibbs or Bijan, though, is injury. I think you really can't go wrong with either if you have the first pick. Someone in the text line asked, is any QB worth an early round draft outside of Allen? And in my opinion, unless you're playing a super flex where you can play 2 QB, no. Allen, to me, is the only guy I would dare to say I would take in the first 5 rounds. Like, I don't think... Who's QB2 right now consensus? Is it Jaden Daniels? Like, Drake May? Like,
that's a great question.
Because to Lamar, maybe? Because to me, there's a significant drop-off, and I would... If Josh Allen's there at pick 15, you can consider that. That's the only guy. Like, I'm not taking another quarterback in the first 5 to 6 rounds. It's just there's not another one I can trust enough fantasy-wise, and there's other guys that we'll talk about, Logan, that I think you should take a chance on instead.
I'm one of those guys. I'm of the opinion that unless you're in like a 12 or 14 person, even a 12 team, if you're in like a 14 team league in fantasy football, nobody, and I mean nobody, should be taking a quarterback in round 1. That is the belief that I have. I look at, the disparity in different position groups is so much wider than it is so much wider at quarterback, or so much wider at places like running back and receiver than it is at the quarterback position. I mean, according to different, the overall consensus kind of still has Lamar at wide receiver or at QB2 in most leagues, with Jaden Daniels at 3. Mahomes is sitting at QB 13. According to ESPN.
See, and that's where I think there's value to where you don't need to take a quarterback early. If you got Patrick Mahomes at pick 85, pick 90, awesome. Do that any day over the week over taking Jaden Daniels at pick 40. Any day of the week, I'd rather you do that as a draft. Again, for a 1 QB non-superflex league, if you're only playing one quarterback, I say you wait. Unless you get Josh Allen, I say you wait. And still, I'm in a 12-team league, and I think 12 to 10 is probably the most common leagues that people play in.
I'm in a 10-team.
Yeah, I'd say 10, 12 is probably the most common. I don't think you should take a quarterback in the first round if you're in that. I really don't.
And there's always somebody who does.
I think Josh Allen should be taken in the second round if you want to take a quarterback high. Other than that, again, me and Logan will talk about some guys that we really like, some guys we think you should avoid. But to answer your question, outside of Josh Allen, no, do not take a quarterback high.
Yeah, because, you're looking at a situation where, in terms of fantasy football quarterback rankings, you've got Josh Allen at number 1, according to ESPN's anyway. You got Matthew Stafford at 15. That's the quarterback rankings for fantasy football. Matthew Stafford, the reigning NFL MVP, is QB 15 in fantasy football. Meanwhile, at the running back position, Jahmyr Gibbs is running back 1. Breece Hall is running back 15. Dealing with an injury, playing on a god-awful Jets team. Running back 16 is Javonte Williams. Wide receiver 1, Jamar Chase. Wide receiver 15, Devonta Smith. That feels like a larger gap than you see at the quarterback position, where quarterback 12 is still going to get you 300 points over the course of a fantasy football, of an NFL season. Wide receiver 15 might get you 200. Wide receiver 1's going to get you 260 to 300 points.
And if you're worried about missing out on the mobile quarterback, because they will fly, like Allen, Lamar, Jaden, they will fly.
Dude, they got Jackson Dart as QB 8.
Take a later round one, like a Kyler in Minnesota or a Malik Willis in Miami. They don't have to be your starter, but if you're worried you're going to miss out on the top guys, take a swing with one of the bottom guys with one of your last picks. There's no problem with doing that. Again, I think it is much harder to replace your running backs and receivers and tight ends in fantasy football than it is to replace your quarterbacks. So, in my opinion, stick to building around your roster and get the quarterback later.
All right, let's do a little bit of who do we pick, who do we pick, who do we avoid, kind of in this context of, are there guys in fantasy football that maybe aren't in the top 5, top 10 of your fantasy football, or maybe they are, that you are absolutely 100% in on, of if they're there at this spot, I'm going to take them. And who are those guys that are maybe a little bit higher up on rankings than you expected them to be, and you are going to avoid if you have the opportunity? We'll do that next here on After Hours. Logan Weber, Jackson Ogden, 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
BetMGM, official partner of Major League Baseball, is bringing the high heat all season long. All season long, you can log into the BetMGM app and receive top-tier promos that put you in the batter's box and up the excitement for America's pastime. Step up to the plate all season long with Swing for the Fences, the free-to-play game where every swing could score you rewards. We're talking parlay boost tokens, odds boost tokens, same-game parlay boost, and even bonus spins all season long. And the action doesn't stop there. Get more out of every at-bat and every inning with MLB's same-game parlay boost. Stack your picks and boost your potential payout. Plus, lock in bigger value with MLB odds boost tokens and MLB parlay boost tokens all season long. More boost, more swings, more chances to win. Download the BetMGM app and step up to the plate today. MLB trademarks used with permission. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Missouri only. Existing customer offers. Subject to eligibility requirements. Please gamble responsibly.
Having unexpected car trouble or just in a car accident? You need Jay's Southland Tow Service. They have 20 years of experience and service the KC metro area. They specialize in light, medium, and heavy duty, also in commercial transport and construction equipment. Keep this number handy, 816-779-4TOW, or go to southlandtow.com. Use the tow service trusted by most local police departments, Jay's Southland Tow. There's nothing they can't do, so be in the know and use Jay's Southland Tow.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years guaranteed? Now through August 24th, new Xfinity customers can get our best price on gig Wi-Fi this summer before it disappears. Just $50 a month for 5 years. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included. Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. It's Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a 6th sense. Plus, it keeps you protected from online threats. And get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable. Learn more at Xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi.
Running a business shouldn't feel like a juggling act. One app for accounting, another for inventory, one more for sales, and somehow they never work together. Or you could use Odoo, one fully integrated platform with all the business applications you need. CRM, inventory, accounting, marketing, and more. All working together seamlessly. Stop juggling software and get back to growing your business. Try Odoo free at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Got a few names in the text line that people are throwing out. You know how the text line can be an absolute cesspool sometimes, but it can also be extremely helpful. I was trying to come up with kind of a name for the segment, and somebody's like, just start them and sit them. Yeah, that's what I was looking for, but my brain just could not connect the wires. So let's do a little start them, sit them for fantasy football. Just throw some names out, give an opinion on it. First name I'll go with, somebody in the text line mentioned it, Amarion Hampton. Running back for the Los Angeles Chargers. He was very much so a hyped-up prospect coming out of college last year. I myself was very high on him. I wanted the Chiefs to take him in round 1. Of course, the Chargers ended up with him. A little disappointing. He wasn't overly effective. Injuries kind of derailed him a little bit. He's running back 8, according to ESPN's fantasy football rankings. What do you make of that? Are you a start-em or sit-em with Amarion Hampton this year in fantasy football?
You know, had you asked me this a couple of days ago, I might have been a start-em, but I'm going to land on a sit-em, Logan, and a lot of this comes from the recent injury news for the Chargers. They lost their starting center. They went out and paid good money to get this offseason in Tyler Badias, and that is a big problem because their left guard and right guard play is already bad. Now they're on their backup rookie center for the season because their starter went down with an ACL. I think the interior O-line for the Chargers is going to be a big problem. We don't even know if Rashawn Slater will be the same guy, so you're really down to Joe Alt. I, at running back 8, am going to sit Amarion Hampton there. I also think Mike McDaniel will want to utilize Keaton Mitchell, who they brought in over the offseason, who he was very excited to get. You know Mike McDaniels likes his track stars, and Keaton Mitchell, one of those guys that could do that. So Amarion Hampton at RB8, I'm sit him. What about you, Logan?
I'm with you. I'm sit him. And I love you bringing up Mitchell because definitely he's in the same vein as Devon Achane, who he utilized quite a bit in Miami. Amarion Hampton himself with the injury issues gives me pause. And then you mentioned losing your starting center. Your left and right guards are awful. In fact, I'm pretty sure it was your right guard that got your center hurt. Same guy who got Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater hurt in years past as well. Slater, who knows what's happening there? It's not like it's not like Joe Alt's been the most healthy guy on planet Earth either. He missed time a season ago. He was good when he was out there, but there's injury concerns already with the Chargers, and I don't think that's going to slow itself down, and he might end up in a more running back by committee approach than I think people have been anticipating. So I agree. I mean, I would sit him. At least in terms of running back 8, I'm more of a sit him when it comes to Amari and Hampton. If we're continuing here, start him, sit him. Let's try to do this with bias excluded. Okay. Staying with running backs, Kenneth Walker.
What are we pricing him at?
ESPN's got him as running back 13.
Buying. I'm buying at 13. I think you could flip him and Amorion, in my opinion.
Yeah,
and
I
I'd
agree.
be okay with that. I just think while there are good backs behind Walker this year, and Emmett Johnson and DeMarcado and Brashard Smith will get some playtime, he's clearly going to be the bell cow. They brought him in to do that. They paid him big-time free agent money, the largest contract handed out to a running back in free agent history. The Chiefs, through training camp, have shown you they want to do more under center this year. Bieniemy is back, who did a great job with 7th-round rookie Kyle Monangai last year and DeAndre Swift in Chicago. I'm buying Kenneth Walker, especially early in the season when Patrick Mahomes is coming back from the torn ACL. I don't think they're going to ask him to drop back and throw 40 times, Logan. I think they're going to tell Kenneth Walker, hey, we're going to need 20 to 25 carries tonight out of you. And that volume, he won't get his touchdown stolen by Zach Charbonnet anymore. He's going to get to finish at the goal line. At RB13, I buy Kenneth Walker.
I'm with you. I'm buying on Kenneth Walker at RB13. I think he finishes a little closer to that, like you were saying with Amarion Hampton, right around RB8, RB9 in most fantasy football leagues. A couple more running backs. Devon Achane, who we just mentioned, Miami Dolphins. He's at RB6. Start him, sit him there.
I'm going to start him just because he's all they have. What else do the Dolphins do? We've heard head coach Jeff Heffley say, look, we're going to use him so much, I might have to carry him off the field. Now, that might not be a good thing in the long term because he might get injured with how much they use him, but I'm going to buy him at 6 just because the Dolphins receiving core is so bad. Their wide receiver one's Malik Washington. Malik Willis is more of a run-style quarterback anyway. I think Devon Achane smashes this year. 6 is a bit pricey, I understand that, but I'm going to go ahead and buy him. I think that's just right for Devon Achane.
All right. We're going to deviate a little bit because I'm a hard sit-em on Achane.
All right, we finally have a disagreement.
You're right. He's all they have. And like I was talking about earlier with Bijan Robinson in Atlanta and why I wouldn't take him 1-1 over Jahmyr Gibbs, I'm not confident in Devon Achane at running back 6 because he's quite literally, even more so than Bijan in Atlanta, all the Miami Dolphins have.
It's true.
I mean, Malik Washington at wide receiver 1. Get ready to see 8 guys in the box every single play, Achane. People, they're going to key, any run, any RPOs, any options, anything. They're going to key in on him. Malik Willis, do it yourself, man. Let's see. Go out and beat us. If we lose to Malik Willis, then so be it. But we're not going to let Devon Achane go out and beat us. I don't know if he'll finish in the top 10 of running backs. And yeah, I know he's going to get a ton of carries, but he's not the biggest dude in the world.
True.
So by week 8, if this man still has use of his arms and legs, that might be a win in and of itself for Miami. Last name I got for you, Kyren Williams.
Ooh, where at?
ESPN has him at RB17. The highest I've seen him is 14.
So this is interesting because I don't think that's bad value, yet I'm still going to say sell. I'm a little off on Kyren right now. The snap percentages the last few years has gone down. Blake Corum's snap percentages keep going up. It essentially became a 50-50 split backfield last year by the end of the year.
And there are already reports coming out saying it's going to be more of a 50-50 split again this year.
And Kyren's been RB, I believe, 9 and 7 the last 2 years. He's been right around the top 10, right at the bottom of the top 10, but still obviously a back you'd love to have in fantasy. I think this is the year you see the production drop. I think Corum gets more opportunities. And let's not forget, the Rams throw the ball inside the 10 more than any team in the NFL. Like Devontae Adams led the receivers in touchdowns last year simply on those fade routes at the goal line. Stafford led the NFL in touchdown passes because it doesn't matter if they're up 30. McVay still throws. So for me, selling Kyren this year, I think this is the year we see his fantasy value dip significantly.
Yep, I'm with you. I'm going to sit on Kyren Williams. I'm going to start on Blake Corum. At RB39, I think Blake Corum's the guy that can certainly finish in the low to mid 20s in terms of running backs. And at RB39, that's really good end of the draft value. He's not a guy that's going to start for you every single week, but he's a possible flex option. He's a guy that you can throw in there as your RB2 if you've got a guy on a bye. That's good value, I think, out of Blake Corum at RB39. In terms of quarterbacks, start 'em, sit 'em. I guess we'll start Jaden Daniels at 3. Start him or sit him?
Sit. I'm fading Jaden Daniels. Everybody's going to go back to the rookie season because it was electric. They loved it. Are we not watching RG3 2.0 here in Washington? It just feels too similar, and I hate to say it, but what was one of the biggest knocks on Daniels coming into the league? He's small. Is he going to be able to survive the hits? Last year he couldn't. I also don't love the Commanders' offense. His weapons are an over-the-hill Terry McLaurin and an over-the-hill Stephon Diggs. That's what we're giving him to work with, and the backfield is what? A 7th-round Ja'Cory Cross-Merritt? In my opinion, 3 is too rich for my liking. I think 3 is too high.
I can't believe you're disrespecting 5 like that, man.
Well, because they're putting him at 3 and not 5.
I see.
They disrespected him. I didn't do it.
I see where you're coming at. Yeah, I'm probably sell also. I think Jaden Daniels, I'm not as low on him as maybe some others are. I still think that there's juice left in Terry McLaurin. We just saw that there's still juice left in Stephon Diggs. He was great last year in New England. I love what Washington's trying to do by bringing him in. They got a Okonkwo, the tight end from Tennessee, to come over to kind of help alleviate that room with the loss of Zach Ertz. But at 3, I just don't see it. I think he's a guy that finishes closer to like 8 to 10, but it's still a viable QB1 for a team in a fantasy football league if you've got 10 or 12 teams in your league. But at 3, I'm more of a sit-em in that situation.
Also has to be mentioned, I took him in the 3rd round last year and he burned me. So I'm a little biased.
Okay. We're not going to do Mahomes at QB 13 because I think we're both a very easy start in that situation. Yep. That's not much of a conversation to be had. What about Caleb Williams? QB 11, according to ESPN's fantasy football rankings. You starting or sitting with Caleb Williams at 11?
I'm starting. And I think the Bears are going to be an interesting team for fantasy players this year because who do you take? Do you take Rome? Do you take Burden? Do you take Loveland? There's so many mouths to feed, but you don't have to worry about that if you take Caleb because he's the one feeding them all. I think Caleb Williams has an opportunity to win MVP this season in that offense. I'm not saying he's going to. I'm just saying I think within that Ben Johnson offense, there's a path for him to do that. Now, of course, there's still some problems. He holds onto the ball longer than any quarterback in the NFL. That has to be cleaned up. He has some mistake. What's funny with Caleb is he struggles with the easy check down fundamental stuff, and then he does the spectacular. So he's got to get back to being able to get back to the mechanics, the fundamentals, and beating the Madden curse. You got to beat the Madden curse too. But at 11, I'll buy Caleb. I'll buy him at 11.
Yep, I'm definitely a start with Caleb Williams at 11. And it's funny how ESPN had a bunch of their fantasy football staff rank their players in fantasy draft value. His rankings were sporadic. One person had him at QB 14. Matt Bowen of ESPN had him at 6. Field Yates had him at quarterback 15. It's very up and down. People aren't really sure what to make of Caleb Williams coming into this year. But him being at quarterback 11, and we're both a start in that situation. Last quarterback I've got for you just for the time being, Jackson Dart. ESPN, the overall consensus, his average is having him at QB 7.
If you take one thing, anybody listening to this, if you take one thing I say tonight and run with it, sell, no, sit him. Absolutely not. I don't buy Jackson Dart at all. Listen, he had a couple of decent games last year, but he is a moron on the field. He doesn't protect himself, and he hasn't learned. Did you see him in the first preseason game?
Yeah.
Back in the blue medical tent. I'm selling that one hard. I think Dart is capable of giving you a few weeks of like a 25-point game, but I think those 25-point games where he rushes and gives you those points are the same games that are going to knock him out for 3 or 4 weeks. He's just not careful, and it just feels like from a maturity aspect as a quarterback, he wants to go run guys over. He wants to be Cam Scatterbo. He wants to play just like his best buddy. Good luck surviving in the NFL like that. So I get it. People are like, well, Harbaugh, coming in, he just had Lamar. We could see similar play style out of Dart with the run game. Sell on Dart.
Yeah, I'm a sit on Jackson Dart for sure. We'll do this briefly. Somebody said Kyler Murray, throwing out Kyler Murray's name. QB 16.
I do kind of like that. Think about the last time a quarterback went to Minnesota. Sam Darnold.
I'm right there with you.
Kevin O'Connell has made it work before with guys.
Justin Jefferson, if Jordan Addison can keep his head on straight and maybe not get behind the wheel of a car, then they've got two pretty viable wide receivers right there off rip.
Well, Jawan Jennings said him joining the team felt like KD joining the Warriors. So, there you go. You already got a big three.
Yeah, like KD joining the Warriors. If the Warriors were like a 44-38 basketball team. Good God.
I just think it's funnier he compared himself to KD. Jawan Jennings is like, yeah, I'm KD coming into the super team. First of all, it's not a super team. And second of all, you are more like an Andre Iguodala.
Yeah, you're Zaza Pachulia in this situation. I don't know where the hell you think you're at.
Cook.
Here.
I don't know who you think you are, but you're not KD.
You're Gary Payton II in this equation, big. You're Moses Moody right now, dog.
I would be hesitant to even give you Kevon Looney. Like you are pushing it. If KD is just disrespectful.
Your final season, Andrew Bogut. I can't believe we're just throwing out.
Festus Ezeli, bro.
Festus that is such a good pull. Festus Ezeli. Oh my goodness.
Oh, that Warriors team, they tormented me. I know all of them.
Unbelievable, dude. Festus Ezeli. What a pull there. 913-586-7965 is our number. We'll get to wide receivers and tight ends quickly when we come back as we finish up this Thursday night edition of After Hours. 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Men, erectile dysfunction can affect much more than just your sex life. It can create stress in relationships, leading to feelings of anxiety or embarrassment and impact your overall confidence and well-being. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and we specialize in treating men's sexual health issues to help men find solutions that fit their individual needs. ED is a frustrating condition, and many men suffer for years without seeking treatment. But the good news is that if you're like most men, we have the answer. Our licensed medical providers will evaluate your specific medical situation and recommend a plan designed for you. And these advanced medical therapies work, with treatments having success rates of well over 90%. Which means you and the one you love can have great sex again without the fear and worry of ED. You can even last up to an hour or more, and you may just find you're performing like you haven't in years. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Fan Cash Fridays are here. Listen every Friday for your chance to win $100 in fan cash from Fanatics Sportsbook. Use Fan Cash to unlock unlimited profit boosts, exclusive merch, collectibles, and more. No purchase necessary. Must be 21 plus. See full rules on 96.5 The Fan contest page.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
Trust is earned. That's why I've stuck with Straight Talk. Same price since 2009 on Verizon's 5G network. Cause shoot, anyone can make a promise. Keeping it for years, that means something.
Now plans starting at $25 a month with 4 lines. Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Same price claim applies only to the base monthly price of our $45 plan from October 2009 to present.
Hey, it's Brew, and I feel like everything in my life depends on being connected. Whether I'm uploading a video, hopping on a call before my show, or video chatting with my family back in Michigan, I never have to think about my Wi-Fi. And that's why Xfinity stands out. You get the most reliable, fiber-powered Wi-Fi with the best equipment at one price for 5 years guaranteed. No contracts or commitments. Plus, you can get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Use of fiber or coaxial cable. Learn more at Xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi. Xfinity, imagine that.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Got a few minutes left here tonight on After Hours. Logan Weber alongside Jackson Ogden, 96.5 The Fan. We went through stardom, sit-em, quarterbacks, and running backs for fantasy football. We'll take a brief look at some wide receivers and tight ends. Stardom, sit-em, Puka Nacua at wide receiver 2. I guess I'll start. I'm more of a sit-em with Puka at wide receiver 2. For no other reason than the injuries have quietly been there throughout most of his career. Devontae Adams had a really good year last year. Plus, there's this lingering suspension thing that might be coming down at some point. And if he misses time, that's obviously going to tank his fantasy football rankings. So at wide receiver 2, I mean, I see Jackson Smith and Jigba as more of a wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 than I do Puka. So I'm barely a sit-em on Puka. If he's out there for a full 17-game season, he's top 3, top 4 receiver.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be with you. It's a soft sit-em. I think it goes Chase and Jigba, then Puka. So I think he should be priced at wide receiver 3. You're not crazy if you take him at wide receiver 2. I can understand why you would do it, but I agree with every point you made. The suspension, injuries, also wide receiver competition in his own room. I get it.
A.J. Brown at wide receiver 9. Start him, sit him.
I think this is priced perfectly. I'm just going to say start him at 9. I think this is exactly where it should be. He's the clear number 1 in New England. Drake May obviously was able to do wonders with Diggs last year. There's no reason he shouldn't be able to succeed with A.J. Brown. I think 9 is perfect. If you had him at 8, I'd probably say sit. If you had him at 10, I'd say it's probably a little too low. So it's like, I think 9 is the sweet spot. I think that's exactly where he should go.
I think he could be better than wide receiver 9. I mean, I look like Nico Collins at wide receiver 8, Drake London at wide receiver 7. I don't see any reason why A.J. Brown finishes below those guys in fantasy football rankings. I think A.J. Brown's a guy that could probably finish wide receiver 5 through 7 with a guy like Drake May throwing him the football, a better thrower of the football than Jalen Hurts was during his time in Philly. I think he could be absolutely phenomenal if he can stop with the obscure Twitter posts and the crap via the media. Just go out and play football, dog. Rashee Rice, wide receiver 11. Start him, sit him.
I gotta sit him.
I'm sitting so hard.
I have to. I don't want to. It makes me feel bad, but I have to sit him. It's just his history of injury, his history of suspension, his history of just sometimes disappearing. Look, when Rashee Rice came back last year, those first 5 weeks, he was awesome. Like, if you had him, you understand he was getting force-fed the ball, and he's still in an offense that doesn't have a real alpha receiver. So I get why his price is so high, but suspension-wise, injury-wise, especially how I just think the Chiefs are going to be more of a run-first team this year as well, I'm sitting them here at 11. 11's way too pricey for me.
Yeah, I'm sitting Rashee Rice at 11. Without question. I really don't understand the hype. I've gotten a ton of pushback on the text line because of that. I hope I'm wrong, but I just don't see it. We'll go to tight ends here really quickly while we've got some time. Somebody mentioned Colston Loveland. You talked about how you think Caleb Williams could be an MVP candidate this year. Colston Loveland at tight end 3, start him, sit him. With Brock Bowers at 2 and Trey McBride at 1, I'm a start in that situation. I don't disagree with that sentiment at all.
Sit him slightly. I think Tucker Kraft should be tight end 3 instead of him.
Okay.
But that's being nitpicky. I still think Loveland has a great year. But I think if it were me, it would go McBride, Bowers, Kraft, then Loveland.
I don't hate it. Tucker Kraft, I understand why people are a little bit lower on him coming off of the injury that he had last year as late in the year as he did. I think people are a little bit wary of his early season productivity as he tries to get back from the knee injury. ESPN has him at tight end 9. So you're a start, obviously, then, when it comes to Tucker Kraft. Another guy coming back off injury, Sam Laporta of the Detroit Lions. He's tight end 7 in fantasy football. There's already some lingering injury concerns with him. They don't know if he's going to be available week 1. You start him, sit him on Sam Laporta at tight end 7.
I think I'm sit him on this one, and it's just because there's too many mouths to feed in that offense. You've got Amon-Ra, you've got J-Mo, you've got Gibbs. In my opinion, we saw the rookie year breakout out of Sam Laporta, but we have not seen anything in the last 2 years to suggest he's a top 7 tight end, in my opinion. So it sounds like we disagree here, but I'm going to be the sit-em guy.
I'm going to go kind of where you were earlier with A.J. Brown and say I'm going to start him because I think that's about a perfect place to put him. I know how many weapons Detroit has, but the other thing I know, Dan Campbell loves him some tight ends. Okay, he's a former NFL tight end himself. He's going to find unique ways to get the ball into the hands of his tight ends with the tight end screens and the double reverse Philly special passes that he's done in the past. If Sam Laporta is a player, which I believe he is, Dan Campbell's going to find a way to get in the ball. For my producer, Jackson Ogden, I'm Logan Weber. Thank you guys for joining us. I feel like we could have just done a whole 3-hour show on fantasy football, but I limited us to just an hour here on this Thursday. Don't worry, we'll talk more fantasy football as we get closer and closer to the start of the NFL season. This has been After Hours. Thank you guys for joining us. Thanks for getting involved in the text line. Royals back in action tomorrow. No show. But hey, if you're looking for something to listen to tomorrow, midday, Cody and Gold. I'm filling in for Cody here on 96.5, The Fan.